comes to the plate. Right now, let's send you to Regina. Here's John Wells and some guy named Chris Schultz. I don't know who he is.
Hey, James, we're here, and I'm going to take good care of your buddy Chris Schultz in the press box here at Taylor Field, Regina, for the Labor Day Classic. You haven't missed much. The Bombers picked up 3 yards in the previous play, and you're going to enjoy this afternoon, Chris, I promise you.
Well, I tell you, this is a very unique facility. It's a unique game, and we have 32,000 people and a 29,000-seat stadium. I like this.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers looking at 2nd down and 7. At the 38-yard line, this is T.J. Rubley at the controls. Can't find a receiver open, finds running room to the far side, and comes up reasonably close to a 1st down. We may have a measurement on this. His gain looks to be very close to 7, forced out by Tommy Henry. Today's starting lineups brought to you by Midas Car Care, the way it should be. And they will measure this. It is close enough for T.J. Rubley.
One thing I like about that, John, is T.J. Rubley actually has changed his style in this game. His first few games in the CFL, he was a 5'7" drop quarterback. There you saw him get a 1st down on his own by sprinting and making it himself. He has to do that a couple times.
Well, he's inches away from the 1st down with that measurement on the far side of the field, so already Jeff Reinbold will have to make a bit of a decision. Rubley has fired 3 times as many interceptions as touchdown. Part of the problem, less than effective receivers. Matt DeBuck is his top receiver with 16 catches. Eric Blunt, the only bright spot in the backfield. Chris Perez is having a great season up front as far as the Blue Bombers are concerned, but they've allowed way too many sacks as the season has gone on. Millington and Blunt will run out of the backfield. It is 3rd down and inches for the Blue Bombers. A gamble on Labor Day weekend at Taylor Field. No flags down, and Rubley should have it there.
Well, right now you got to assess that T.J. Rubley has struggled in the Canadian Football League, but when you assess the entire team for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, one of the biggest reasons that he hasn't had any of the same people at slot back and wide receiver. Winnipeg has a good, strong offensive line. They've got a good running game, but you need those perimeter players to help your quarterback. It'll be fun to watch and see if you can get some cohesion with one of the receivers.
So it is a 1st down for the Blue Bombers just out across the 35-yard line. Play action fake by Rubley. Looked for a target and couldn't come up with David Gamble. Looking at the Roughrider defense, a struggling group of late. Antonio Armstrong makes his first start at defensive end. Looking at the linebackers, McSeed, Fox, and Benson in the linebacking core. They've been together a bit. Tommy Henry is brand new in the secondary, and Benson Donaldson plays his first game since the 1997 Western Final.
John, remember this about Vincent Donaldson at free safety. Your techniques and your vision are so different than corner. At a corner, you play man. At free safety, you play an entire zone and all the players.
2nd down and 10. Blue Bombers at the 45. Rubley read the blitz and found Eric Blunt, and Blunt is wrapped up by McMillan short of a 1st down. Penalty markers fly. Benson making the tackle there, and will check out the infraction.
John, I like Eric Blunt. He is the leading all-purpose yardage person in the CFL. You have to get the ball to him in all different situations.
Unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 62. 3rd down.
Absolutely incredible that the Bombers can take penalties like this. Chris Perez taking an unnecessary roughness call down there. It really won't hurt a lot because of field position. It was 3rd down anyway, but still a silly penalty, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's the one thing that Winnipeg can't master. They got to play discipline. They got to play technique football. It's been a single consistency the whole season, penalties in the Blue Bombers.
Bob Cameron is having a banner year with a great average. He's been to a Labor Day Classic quite a few times during his long CFL career. Tex Dawson had nowhere to go, about a 2-yard return. So far, no scoring, a 40-yard punt, 3 yards on the return. The Riders get their hands on the football for the first time when we return.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you could win $1 million if 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in today's game. Now there's a million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
When we created NFL Game Day 99, we used playbooks straight from the NFL teams. Denver's power running attack, Pittsburgh's zone blitz, all the team's special secrets. Entire franchises trust us with their most cherished possessions. Naturally, we keep them under strict lock and key.
Jackpot.
Bro, how we getting down?
PlayStation.
If you're not in the stadium, you're really not in the Grey Cup.
Well, I'm all for modernization of the game and all. Playing ball on artificial turf is like see this? Playing on a giant toupee. This is the real thing. Major League certified stuff. That ain't right.
Jays, Indians, TSN, Labor Day.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? And by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar for great steaks, good friends. See it tonight.
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina. It's Labor Day weekend, and the joint is jammed. Reggie Slack is back at the controls for the Saskatchewan Roughriders after missing last week. It is first down from the shotgun, and Slack has a target short of the first down. Larry Thompson makes his first catch of the afternoon. Don Narcisse leads all Saskatchewan receivers by a bunch. In the backfield, Mike Saunders averages 5 yards a carry. And up front for Saskatchewan, John Terry is back after missing last week. That's good news because the Riders allowed way too many sacks 1 week ago. Numbers for Reggie Slack, one more touchdown.
John, what
and his interception total, sorry.
What Reggie Slack did very well is they were going to bring 4 or 5 different people. He ran away from it to complete the pass. I like that selection early.
2nd and 3, Saskatchewan across the 45. Slack has time, and he's almost picked off. Brad Elberg got his hands on the football and couldn't bring it in. The Bomber defense is strong up front. They've had a super year from Joe Fleming. Doug Hocking returns to the lineup. And Maurice Kelly is the real bright spot of the secondary for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
He's the bright spot, but the kid that's under pressure is nose guard Patrick Garth. First time in the CFL playing nose tackle. He's in for a wonderful experience. It'll be fun to watch to see if he can play that position.
McCallum on 3rd down, kicking it away from Blunt. Blunt picks it up at the 20 and finds about 4 yards. Jeff Reinbold has been feeling the heat since week 3. He has a chance to end that frustration at Taylor Field here this afternoon. On the other side of the field, Saskatchewan's Jim Daly is taking the blame for 6 straight losses, and many in this football-mad province, Chris, are calling for his job.
Well, you have to look at these evaluations of these head coaches, and basically it's black and white. If you have the records that they have had over the previous time, you have to assess it by that and nothing else. They may be great guys, but it's in the business of winning. Football is about winning and losing.
Bombers begin at the 25-yard line. So far, no score at Taylor Field on a beautiful afternoon under bright blue skies. Dylan McCullough, and he's wrapped up quickly. Dwayne Patterson is there for a good tackle on number 20, Dylan McCullough.
Dylan McCullough, John, reminds me a lot of Juan Hammonds in BC. He's a north-south runner, compact body, first year in the Canadian Football League. It's going to be fun to watch him play.
A loss of 1 yard, so the Bombers are looking at 2nd and 11. We're early in the opening quarter. Cotto Cotton flanks to the near side. T.J. Rubley tries to buy a little time and had Cotton coming across, got his hands on the ball. Likely should have made the catch.
Well, this is a great example of T.J. Rubley's experiences with his wide receivers and the slot backs. He comes in on the quick post pattern, and that's a catchable football. Now, statistically, that will go down as an incomplete pass, and everybody will say, well, T.J. Rubley had another incomplete pass. That one's on the wide receiver. Yes, he had to stretch for it, but a catchable ball, you have to do that. That's all part of being a professional.
It did sail a little high, but I think it's a catchable ball. Rubley was blaming himself as he walked to the sidelines, but definitely Cotton could have held on to that one. This is Dex Dawson back for a third down punt from Bob Cameron, standing at his 10. Cameron got a little heat. It bounces for Dawson near the 45. Dawson draws flags. 40-yard punts. You can tell what the penalty was. The Bombers were too close. So far, no score. This is the CFL Live from Taylor Field.
When you sweat, Gatorade wants you to peel it off for a chance to win. Look under specially marked Gatorade labels for your chance at over 1 million prizes. You could instantly win a Nintendo 64-game system or pro sports gear licensed by the NBA, NFL, CFL, CHA, or Major League Baseball. And if you don't win instantly, don't sweat it. Collect Gator points and redeem them for your favorite pro sports gear. Or get to a Gatorade TSN sampling zone for more ways to win. Hit tsn.ca/Gatorade for details. It's going to get hot this summer, so quench your thirst with Gatorade and peel it off for a chance to win.
I've known Paul since he's about this tall.
Gord was quite a bit taller.
I've known Gord and Paul since my 74 Pinto.
Paul and Gord are a couple of real classy guys.
Bingo.
We used to play sports together. I've seen him naked.
I'm Gord, he's Paul.
Why do you do all the talking?
I've taken this car to Midas for everything.
Car repairs should be no stress. If I want stress, I come to Bingo.
Cars run in our family.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Get ready for the Gillette World Racing Fantasy. The winner will be part of the action around the racing world. First stop, Japan, as a VIP member of the Williams team. Meet Jacques Villeneuve and Heinz Harald Frentzen. Then to England for an exclusive tour of the Williams facility. Finally, in Montreal, experience the thrill of the race and get behind the wheel at a racing school and take home $25,000. The Gillette Williams World Racing Fantasy. Enter where Gillette products are sold.
Jim Daly's Saskatchewan Roughriders are 2-7 coming into this Labor Day game, and they really have to get it done this afternoon.
Well, they're struggling in a lot of ways, but three things they have to do. Number one, first down efficiency. Stay out of 2nd and 10, 2nd and 15. Block the blitz, get the crowd in the game. Those three things will have a shot.
And the crowd is definitely here this afternoon. It's almost a full house. There's never a sellout at Taylor Field in Regina. Always one more seat for sale. Here's Slack on first down. Dawson made the catch right at midfield. Tried to get away and actually did. Nice catch. David Maeva finally got to him.
Well, what's nice about this play, John, is Dexter Dawson catches his football and then makes something happen on his own. The whole philosophy behind getting a pass into the flats is to isolate the guy one-on-one. You're putting faith in your guy's going to beat their guy and going to make more yards. Dexter Dawson did exactly that.
So it'll be a Saskatchewan first down apparently, but they're going to take a closer look here and send the chain gang out for the second time.
John, this game for Reggie Slack, he's missed 2 or 3, but, you know, overall, when you look back at their whole season, the first 2 or 3 football games, Reggie Slack was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the CFL. It's important for him to get off to a quick start. He's very underestimated in terms of strength and arm and accuracy downfield, which really allows your team to come from behind. He's got a good arm, he's got a good football background, and he plays with a lot of courage. I like Reggie Slack.
Riders missed the first down by a couple of inches, so Slack will go gambling here. The Bombers had a similar play earlier in the opening quarter and made the first down. Fairly routine for Slack here. He needs inches. Actually, it's second down. Dawson made the catch. Dawson couldn't make the catch, covered by Kalen.
Well, nice coverage overall, because whenever you try to throw the post pattern, the person you're trying to get out of the defensive secondary is the safety. And you can see the safety was right in the right position to come and squeeze the play, because basically this is throwing into coverage. He needs a little bit more separation to look off that safety, open up the seam for the receiver.
So now it's third down, and inches necessary for a Saskatchewan first down. And Slack straight ahead, like I was suggesting he might do on the previous play. Anyway, he does have the first down across the 50-yard line.
Early in the season, one of the strengths of Saskatchewan Roughriders was their running game. Sean Daniels is one of the most underrated fullbacks in the league, and Saunders as a tailback, he's excellent. He has acceleration, he does the right reads, and he just moves well out of the I position. If they establish that against Winnipeg, they're going to have a fun time, because Winnipeg stops the run effectively statistically. That is a strength of theirs.
Well, the Roughriders did start fairly impressively winning 2 of their first 3, but they've now lost 6 in a row and really need a victory here at home today. First carry for Mike Saunders. Big one.
Well, thank you, Mike. Just as I expressed, Mike Saunders has the ability, because of his quickness, to get to the outside corner. And then instead of stretching it too far, he sees an opening. He sees daylight, turns and sprints. And that's what you have to do, because of the length of the CFL field, there comes a point of no return. He doesn't run that far. He'll stretch it inside and gain yards.
16 yards for Mike Saunders. And the Roughriders are inside the Winnipeg 35-yard line. At the 34. Slack tried to buy some time, took a big hit and fired it deep. Intending it for 84, Larry Thompson. Big hit on Reggie Slack.
Big hit by Wesley Lisi, one of the most underrated players. He really gets a heavy, what you would call a chin hit, underneath the pads of Slack, and Slack can't take these hits on a consistent basis. One of his best attributes is his courage, but then again, if you're too courageous, you're going to take some punishment. Nice hit by Lisi. They need a big game out of Lisi.
Lisi has not been a regular starter for the Blue Bombers. They've made that change this season and added one newcomer up front, Patrick Garth. Here comes the blitz, and Slack can't get away from it. Safety blitz. Brad Elberg makes the tackle.
Well, you know, Brad Elberg is going to take risks from the free safety position. Sometimes it works. In this case, he timed it beautifully. He wrapped up on the tackle. Sometimes it doesn't work. Believe me, next time Slack is there and he sees Brad Elberg in that position, he'll audible, check out, and you're going to see a one-on-one opportunity farther down the field. But that's what Winnipeg does. They take risks on defense. Sometimes it works out, which keeps 3 points instead of 7. Sometimes it doesn't.
6.5 minutes to go. In the opening quarter, the Roughriders will go for the first points of the game, with McCallum trying a 44-yarder. He's good on 76% so far this season and has that one. So something to cheer about at Taylor Field, Regina. The Riders score first and have a 3-0 lead on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is CFL Live.
We've got a history, a way of making memories, a place you wanna be. Oh, tonight, it's never been more bright. You see the world in a different light. Alright, I'll see you tonight.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got breath that's very minty.
Midas does a good job at a fair price and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Sometimes I see Vern coming off the ferry, and I say, hey, Vern.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
The sea is a cruel mistress, but Vern is kind.
Midas Car Care, it's the way it should be.
This weekend,
I'm talking sausage hot dogs, beer. Not light beer, but beer.
don't neglect your pets. Try to relax.
We got a bleeder!
And bond with your family at the hottest comedy of the summer.
How's everything?
Fine. You know, I was strong like bull.
There's Something About Mary. Now playing only in theaters.
John Wells and Chris Schultz back at Taylor Field, Regina. Safety blitz by Brad Elberg.
Well,
Forced Saskatchewan into a field goal.
Surprisingly effective by Elberg, and if you watch him here, Slack is very, very aware of where Brad Elberg looks. He looks off, and he's audibling right now. He times it very well on the cadence. The guards on the center and guard split. Nice play by Elberg, and he wrapped them up. Sometimes that's the hardest play to do, is to wrap up a quarterback in open space.
Riders settle for a 44-yard field goal from McCallum and have a 3-0 lead. Eric Blunt returning for Winnipeg. Nice hole opening here. McCallum is the man to beat. He's by him and out to midfield. Eric Blunt forced out by Curtis Gallick. It is a 49-yard return, an outstanding field position for the Bombers.
Well, when you talk about Eric Blunt, the one thing he does exceptionally well in all his kicks is he runs without fear. Look at the no hesitation. No waiting for anybody to collapse or close on the space he has. The all-purpose yardage leader, great play. They should use him as much as possible.
So T.J. Rubley is set up at the Saskatchewan 54 with a first down here. The Bombers have not moved the ball effectively thus far, but have an excellent opportunity here. McCullough looks to be halfway to a first down. Stopped by Dwayne Patterson. Nice block by Chris Perez.
Well, if you watch this play, it's obvious to me why this play worked exceptionally well. Watch Chris Perez way on the left. Comes in and has an excellent block, which allows McCullough to come through, accelerate. This is just man-on-man blocking. This actually is what Winnipeg has an opportunity to do to many teams in the Canadian Football League. For the life of me, they haven't had much success.
Matt DeBuck, the Bombers' leading receiver, flanked to the near side. Out of your picture now. It is second down and 4 to go. Rubley still has it, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Sutton. And the Riders get it right back. Eric Sutton picks off Rubley. That's the 11th interception he's fired this season.
Well, I'll tell you what, this one is on T.J. Rubley. He ends up having to move because of pressure. He tries to stop and throw against the grain, the opposite side shoulder. One of the hardest things to do in a quarterback is to be going in motion one way, throw the other way, and it's behind the receiver. That one is on T.J. Rubley. He has to come back to the sidelines, readjust, and never have that type of play again.
First interception of the season for Eric Sutton, and only the 8th interception by the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense. First and 10 for Reggie Slack, just shy of midfield. The Riders lead at 3-0. Markers are down. Saunders has the ball, and he's met heartily by Patrick Garth. So T.J. Rubley has fired one to this guy. Eric Sutton, and the Riders are around midfield.
Outside, Winnipeg number 52. Repeat first down.
That's Wes Lisi.
Yep. Well, once again,
he's out of Mississippi State. 7th round pick, and ended up in Arizona for his NFL stint. First and 5 Bombers now at the 52. Slack back in the lineup after missing last week with abdominal problems. Daniels straight ahead for about 4.
And John, really what makes this play happen and work so well is how quick Daniels receives the ball and how fast he hits the hole. You can have the greatest offensive line in the world, but if you have a running back that hesitates in the backfield, it's not going to work out. Sean Daniels is very good. He's very similar to Millington. If you give him the ball with momentum, he's going to create yards after first contact.
Only his 16th carry of the season, so the bulk of the running by Saskatchewan done by Mike Saunders. He picked up 4. This is second, about a yard to go, and Daniels gets the call again. Should have the first down. He's across the 45-yard line.
You know, one thing about being able to run the football, linebackers and free safeties are psychologically conditioned not to get beat at the point of attack. When you get a couple running plays, it just happens. Everybody starts cheating up. Everybody wants to take that phase away. If you can run the football, it opens up all other avenues of offensive play.
So it is another Saskatchewan first down at the Bomber 44-yard line. Riders have been in this vicinity before and settled for a 44-yard field goal. Only scoring in the game so far. Heat on Slack. Had to rush the throw and fired it short for Larry Thompson.
Well, still, it's a good play by Slack because there's going to be certain situations in a football game that you just have to get rid of the ball. Now, if that was a younger quarterback, he would have tried to make the play. But in a scenario like this, he's way off balance. He can't set his feet. Just throw the ball to a spot where you know the defender is not going to get an interception.
And that's exactly what he did. Second and 10, Saskatchewan. Labor Day at Taylor Field, Regina, under bright blue skies. Just a perfect afternoon for football. Slack on second down. He has Thompson. Marker down far side, but Thompson will have a first down if, in fact, the penalty is against Winnipeg.
Well, I know the secret to this play, John. They blocked the blitz. I said there's various things you can do, but that one they blocked it perfectly.
Larry Thompson.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Winnipeg number 3. First down.
Brandon Hamilton was called there, but Thompson had the first down with 24 yards in total.
Whenever you bring extra people to pressure quarterback, there's a vacant area. In this case, it was the middle of the field in between the hashes. Nice read because Slack threw to the vacant area efficiently.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have yet to score a touchdown in the first quarter this season. They have an opportunity here. Slack looking to the end zone. It's Don Narcisse. Before the game, this is the guy they cheered. It's Don Narcisse here. Don Narcisse Day here in Saskatchewan after setting the record last week of 831 catches in the Canadian Football League. They honored him before the game, and they salute him once more here. That is the 70th touchdown reception of Don Narcisse's miraculous career. So, Chris, the Riders finally have a touchdown in the opening quarter and something to cheer about here.
Something to cheer about. We were talking earlier about if they were going to pick on one of the cornerbacks, it would be Patrick Burke, and it was a great throw by Reggie Slack. He can throw just about every type of pattern with velocity and efficiency and touch. In this case, it's a touch pass, it's a fade pattern, and it's just well played, well thrown. One of the underestimated things about Slack is his background in football. He played at Auburn University. He's played in a lot of pressure situations. But look how he throws over the defender to the far shoulder, boy, right in stride to Narcisse. They have a nice rhythm between the two of them. They've had so much practice time together. Situations like this just don't happen because you're lucky. Situations happen like this because you're precise and you're repetitive in practice and you're well practiced between two people. This is a big thing for Saskatchewan because going into this game, I thought the team that scored first would have the confidence and the momentum to take them through the half. I thought that was one of the keys to the game. Saskatchewan had the first big touchdown.
It was a thing of beauty.
And you know, John, we talk about Narcisse's record in the 830 plus and the 190 some odd consecutive games, but you know what I admire is the durability issue, because for every one of those catches, he's been smacked. And it's hard to come back sometimes from those crossing patterns of people that have been taking shots on you. As much as Donald Narcisse is a great player, he's a tough kid too.
190 games with at least one catch for Don Narcisse. His 70th touchdown. Eric Blunt returning for Winnipeg, down 10-0. An impressive scoring drive for Saskatchewan, brought to you by Chrysler Canada. We're not just building cars and trucks, we're building Canada. 6 plays to cover 57 yards in a time of 3 minutes. Thompson, a 24-yard catch to set it up, and Narcisse took it in from 20 yards out.
Here's Donald Narcisse, and he got Patrick Burke to stop his feet. The second that a defensive back stops his feet, the offensive receiver will accelerate. That creates the separation necessary to complete the pass. Notice the distance between the two. That's speed with Donald Narcisse and knowledge and good football play.
Now the Bombers really have to respond. They're down 10-0, 2:01 to play, opening quarter. TJ Rubley had one intercepted earlier, and Rubley on the run, far side, couldn't stay in bounds. David Campbell was the target. David Gamble, I should say.
Well, still, TJ Rubley is making things happen on his own. Sometimes if you cannot stay in the pocket, you have to have the ability to move, and I like that from TJ Rubley. He's adapting to the Canadian Football League, slowly but surely.
The Rubley numbers are not good thus far. 1 of 5 for 6 yards, and the interception that led to the Saskatchewan touchdown. 2nd and 10, Winnipeg. The Bomber 34. Early movement from the Saskatchewan side. Rubley may have a free play here. Gamble couldn't make the catch.
Well, Rubley on that play used the hard count to his advantage.
Indication is offside against Saskatchewan.
There's 2 times, John, you should use a hard count. Early
Offside,
in the football game.
Saskatchewan number 98. Repeat, 2nd down.
and late in a football game. Patterson was offside in that case, but these type of things should be used only in certain segments. You can't use it all the time. You only use it in a critical situation.
Jeff Reinbold still trying to figure out how to win a football game in 1998. His record as the Blue Bomber head coach is 4 wins and 23 losses after 9 straight losses this year. Rubley on 2nd and 5. Won't get it away. Revenge for Dwayne Patterson after the call on the offside.
I think what's frustrating about this is the fact that it was a 4-man rush, just Patterson and the rest of them in there.
Patterson's 7th sack. No one is open.
No one is open, but he still has to make a decision to get rid of the football. If nothing is happening, don't take the loss of downs. But
there was a marker down, illegal contact on an eligible receiver away from the play. So the Bombers get a break here. And we'll get a 1st down out of it. 1st and 10 Winnipeg at the 49. Rubley needs to connect, and he does. Big 1st down. Mitch Running is a brand new member of that Bomber receiving corps, playing his 1st game out of Kansas State.
What was nice about the play is really Rubley threw it to a point where Mitch Running, this is the only place that you can catch the football, is to the outside of the pattern, keeping away from the defensive halfback. There's some skills Rubley does well. He throws the seam well. He throws the post well. There's other things that he's still struggling with. But this is one of his better throws, one of his better patterns.
The 24-yard gain sets the Bombers up at the Saskatchewan 37-yard line, 1st down. Should be the last play of the opening quarter. Saskatchewan on top by 10. Rubley keeps it on the ground for McCullough. Close to 5 yards for Dylan McCullough. We'll check it out when we return to Taylor Field in Regina. Great afternoon for football. Bombers have an opportunity to get right back in this one.
You're watching CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Here's your host, James Duthie.
All right, welcome back to TSN Football Control, which is also kind of TSN Baseball Control today, and we should update you. The game tied at 2 after 5 innings in St. Louis. Mark McGuire is due up first in the bottom of the 6th inning, and of course we will take you live as soon as that happens. But let's talk some football for now. Winnipeg, same old story, critical mistakes at critical times.
Well, you know, Eric Blunt had the big return, and they were in excellent position there, and then T.J. Rubley throws another interception. You just can't make those kinds of mistakes and take points off the board.
And here it is right here. Rubley, again, it just looks like, first of all, he's going the wrong way, and that's always going to put the pass behind him.
Just a bad throw, just a bad throw. I mean, again, as I said, when you get field position, you've got to capitalize on it, and they did.
And that leads to the touchdown right away. Reggie Slack, very impressive. We weren't even sure if he was completely healthy for this one.
Yeah, well, Jim said that he was feeling much better, and he certainly played very well. The danger from Winnipeg's standpoint, if you blitz a veteran quarterback like Reggie Slack, you better get there, because if you don't, when he's got those man-to-man situations, he can make you pay big time. You know, a good first quarter for Saskatchewan. They got 10 points.
All right, now, we're trying to be good sports here, but we can tell you we are very jealous of Mr. Schulte. We're stuck in a studio all day. He's out there, jam-packed stadium, beautiful day, so we kind of miss you, Schulte, but we also hate you. So take care of him, John. We'll send it back to you guys for second quarter action.
I'll tell you guys, he's having a good time up here.
Guys, this is great here in Regina. It is a packed house. Every seat is taken. It's a unique atmosphere. I'm enjoying myself.
So you guys from Eastern Canada should get out to the Heartland every once in a while and watch a football game.
I agree with you.
Number of 1st downs for the Roughriders, 5 for Winnipeg, 4. The turnover was costly. That set up the touchdown. Time of possession fairly close there, Chris.
I like that, but more than anything else, 61 yards passing by Saskatchewan. They're seeing things in the Winnipeg defense that they can take advantage of. And Winnipeg continues to pressure. The experience of Slack, as Eric was saying, will take over. You got to be very logical with when you put pressure on quarterbacks that have been in the league for a while.
T.J. Rubley has looked very cool on this drive. 24 yards to Mitch Running. Got the Bombers deep in Saskatchewan territory. McCullough carries again on 2nd and 5. We'll see where they spot this one. It'll be close to a 1st down, but I think maybe a little shy.
John, I've always thought the Bombers, the one strength that they had more than anything else was their offensive line with Perez and Hendrickson, Von Conen, Mahalik. and Furtick. There's some big kids with good feet, and this type of system where you attack north and south right over the nose guard over the center, that's the one phase of football that they should stick with as far as they can within a game.
I think they're a little bit shy here, maybe a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down.
You know what we're going to see is the quarterback sneak that exciting football. Exciting as football play.
Well, give it to your best back and try and keep everyone on side. This is a key gamble for Winnipeg. Down by 10, they can come away with points here from this drive if they can continue it. Bombers go gambling, no markers, and Blunt is nailed by Deon Fox. I don't believe he got the first down.
Anytime you're in a short yardage situation, the one thing you do not do is have a slow developing play. Really, with the motion, it was kind of an easy key for Saskatchewan to read where the football was going, but still, it took a 1.5 seconds for this play to develop. The front guys submarine, the linebackers fill. I can understand why the play didn't work.
Second turnover by the Bombers, and the Roughriders dodge a bullet there. Winnipeg definitely within Westwood's field goal range. So Deon Fox, who actually won the job in training camp and had to wait to claim it for a couple of weeks, makes the big play for the Saskatchewan defense, and another headache and heartache for Jeff Reinbold. Slack at the controls has a 10-0 lead. Swings it coming out of the backfield. It's intercepted. Touchdown coming here for Carter. Grant Carter. 25 yards for the touchdown. You could see it coming all the way.
Well, I think Grant Carter timed this play just wonderfully in the sense that he anticipated the route, and he's the one player that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers need more big plays from on an individual basis. He's their #1 pass rusher. He's the #1 most experienced player, and he has a very good motor. I like Grant Carter. He does a lot of things effectively. He is right here, and watch his read. He knows how to flow. He anticipates what's going to happen, and he breaks on the ball effectively. This is the 2nd interception he's had this year in similar circumstances, and that's film study. That's understanding what's going to happen at a certain point of the game. Great play by Grant Carter.
25-yard touchdown. Bombers back within 3 as Westwood puts it through. So it's Labor Day here, and lots of things can happen at Taylor Field in Regina. This weekend is something special here, and the world is watching another special moment in St. Louis. McGuire is coming to the plate. We'll send you back to James.
All right, thank you very much, Johnny. Yes, Mark McGuire stepping up to the plate in just a few seconds. He lined out in the 1st inning. He walked in the 4th inning, so he is officially 0 for 1. It is the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 2-2 St. Louis and Cincinnati. Brett Tomko on the mound as Mark McGuire comes to the plate in the bottom of the 6th inning, still looking for number 61.
Ripped down the line and foul.
That'll give you goosebumps.
Strike 2. Mark McGuire today is lined out. He's walked. He's scored. He is looking for home run number 61.
ball and 2 strikes on McGuire, leading it off in the 6th. Breaking ball struck him out looking. McGuire 0 for 2 with a walk as Tomko flipped one up there and gets his 3rd strikeout of the game.
After a bevy of hard stuff, he gets
all right, maybe we're not so jealous of Schultz. He doesn't get to watch this exciting stuff. Let's send you back to Regina. 10-7 Riders leading the Bombers.
And we'll get you back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis for every McGuire at bat this afternoon. Right now, we're watching Reggie Slack at the controls for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There's your score. A little quarterback draw, and Slack is wrapped up on 1st and 15. Joe Fleming was there. What a season that Fleming is having for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 9 sacks on the year.
What makes Joe Fleming so good as a defensive end, defensive tackle, he has a combination of 2 skills. He can be aggressive, he can be a physical, but he also can be a finesse player. And by finesse player, I mean he uses his hands effectively. He works with leverage, and he works against the offensive lineman's balance. He's an overall, Johnny, he's a good defensive tackle.
It'll be 2nd and 13 facing Slack and the Roughriders. Slack from the shotgun. Inside the 30, here's the blitz, and Slack is wrapped up and fired to the turf. Fleming is there, and so is Tyrone Rogers, and Rogers might have been there first.
Well, I think what's unique now is I'm watching the defensive personnel for Winnipeg, and they've always been a blitzing team, but in this situation, they're coming even more aggressively than they have in previous games. It's kind of like everyone has a fire in their house and getting the heck out, and Slack has to make the 2 or 3 reads. The receivers have to adjust, but Winnipeg in that time, they capitalized.
Couple of big plays by the Bomber defense. One went for a touchdown, 25 yards, and the interception returned to the end zone by Grant Carter. And they've gotten to Slack a couple of times today. Blunt ready to return. Bombers should get good field position out of this. With Blunt waiting for McCallum's kick at the 45. Good kick by McCallum, chasing Blunt back to the 40. Slipped through, got a block there. This is Eric Blunt on a tear. Down to the 30s, over McCallum, and down to the 21-yard line. Big special teams play by the Bombers. A 51-yard return. Winnipeg in scoring position when we return.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won Fill-A-Shave with Reflex Action. It adapts comfortably to the contours of your face. Closer contact for a closer shave. Fill-A-Shave from Philips, our closest shave ever. Or the Business Navigator Personal Organizer from Casio with PC synchronization software and large 1 megabyte anti-loss memory. The BN10 packs so much power, it's like having a PC in your pocket. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Champion's pedigree.
We are a company built on engineering mastery. 300 gives us an all-out engineering car. It has put real fire and spirit into the whole job we do.
Introducing the all-new 99 Chrysler 300M Sport Sedan.
It's unique, and it's exciting, and it's a basic automotive experience.
The most horsepower, the most torque, and the widest stance in its class. The Chrysler 300M. The technology has changed, but the soul lives on.
Labor Day weekend at Taylor Field in Regina, always something special. This year, there's even more on the line. Watch this return by Eric Blunt.
Well, he really sets it up by making 2 initial moves to bring the defenders in, and then accelerates down the sidelines. Nice job by Paul McCallum, kind of sacrificing his body. As much as I don't want to criticize kickers, good play.
First down, Winnipeg. Rubley goes for it all. End zone toss. Touchdown. Mitch Running made the catch. Markers go down. The coverage by Tommy Henry. So Rubley has tossed to the end zone for 22 yards. The Bombers have the lead if the penalty is against Saskatchewan. And that would be my guess.
When you look at the play, the defender has his back to
Pass
the receiver.
interference. Saskatchewan number 3. Decline. Touchdown.
It stands because the defender has his back to the football. He has to turn his head around. Both defender and receiver have the right for the football, but he has to give the body language to the official that he's going for the ball, not the man. Easy call for the ref.
So a touchdown toss by T.J. Rubley after a great return by Eric Blunt. Mitch Running has 2 catches in his Bomber debut, and 1 is for a touchdown. Winnipeg on top of the Roughriders with back-to-back touchdowns. It's 14-10 at Taylor Field, and all of a sudden, it's a little quiet here.
No, John, I think the biggest thing for T.J. Rubley is just to sustain his mental confidence, because it seems like he's going to make some big plays and then he's going to make some mistakes. That's just the way his career right now this year has progressed. He's had some good football games, completed some big passes, and then he makes a big mistake. And you have to have a quarterback that's going to take some risks. If you have a quarterback that's too conservative, that's not positive either, because you never get anything done. So as long as Rubley keeps his confidence, he's going to be okay as the game progresses.
Rubley got lots of time to get this one away. He's now 3 of 7 for 52 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is the big play here.
Well, really, it was a delayed blitz by Armstrong, but the whole offensive line kind of slid to the left, and that's what Rubley does. Don't set up consistently in the pocket. Keep them guessing where you're finally going to throw the football from.
So the pressure shifts squarely to the Saskatchewan bench after the Roughriders had a 10-0 lead. The Bombers have scored 14 in a row. Dex Dawson waits for the kickoff from Winnipeg. Good coverage by Bomber special teams near the 35, 14 yards on the return. And Reggie Slack will try and answer for the Roughriders. Slack had a pretty good first quarter, engineered a touchdown. 4 of 9 for 61. The 1 touchdown and the 1 interception that went for the Blue Bomber touchdown.
Well, Reggie's got to get something done on this series, because his previous series was kind of useless in the sense that it had no positive yardage. He has to progress now as a quarterback and take it over.
Riders 1st and 10. Slack, a little play action fake, comes to the near side, has Dan Farthing, and Farthing had to come back to make the catch, maybe a 4-yard gain. Farthing's first catch, and Ferguson forced him out there.
I think one of the biggest knocks on Slack earlier in his career was his lack of mobility, but I'll tell you what, this is a good football play in the sense that he can sprint and throw with velocity to the outside. Slack's got some qualities as a quarterback that can be developed as the game's progressed. He's going to get stronger and stronger, more confident.
Gain is 4 yards at 2nd and 6. Roughriders at the 38-yard line. It's Labor Day at Taylor Field, and the place is full. Watching the Roughriders try and snap a 6-game losing streak. Slack stands in, fires, target open. It's Narcisse. Second catch for Narcisse. His first went for a touchdown. Ferguson made the tackle. The gain is 13 yards.
Well, Narcisse did a great job of coming back to the football, but really the play was developed through a great pickup by Sean Daniels on Maurice Kelly. Maurice Kelly is the #1 key for Reggie Slack. Where he is, what he does, really relates to what play or where Reggie Slack goes. So it was a combination of the receiver coming back, as well as Maurice Kelly, number 35, picking up that 1 pressure, picking up the free safety.
Narcisse is in very good company among the all-time receivers in football. 834 straight games, or 834 catches, 190 games with at least 1 catch. Riders out with a first down just across the 50-yard line. Narcisse flanked to the far side of the field. Slack comes the other way looking for Larry Thompson. Ferguson was covering again.
And I think if Ferguson had broke on that football 1 second earlier, we'd still be watching him run in the end zone. I mean, basically, Reggie kind of threw the ball to the wrong shoulder of the receiver, and if Ferguson anticipated just a little bit faster, that would have been an interception. Slack does take some risks with his football. I mean, he will put it in situations where there's an opportunity for a defensive back to break and get an interception.
Ferguson, one of a dozen Blue Bombers who used to be members of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's been free trade between these two teams over the last couple of years.
Well, it really is, and I think one thing you have to assess is the number of changes that Winnipeg has had. I mean, that's really being detrimental at this point of the season.
Reggie Slack looks at a 4-point deficit and 2nd and 10. Slack far side. He has Dex Dawson, but he couldn't make the catch. He was out of bounds.
Well, still a good play by Slack because they ended up bringing the safety again, and he stepped up through the ball effectively. He's just keeping calm and cool and collected within the game. Eventually, he's going to have an opportunity, buying time, and the receiver can adjust. That's when you get your big plays. That's when that seam is open. That's when that opportunity is there for a touchdown of a much longer length.
So the Riders get set to kick it away one more time. Blunt is back, standing near his 12-yard line. So the Riders did gain a little bit on field position if they can cover Blunt well here. McCallum standing back near his 35. High. Blunt looks up into the sun, takes it at the 20. Had a big return last time and nowhere to go this time. Wrapped up by Shannon Garrett. So the Bombers begin inside the 25-yard line, 39-yard punts. And that's where they'll begin, deep in their own zone. And let's bring in Ray Morrison on the Saskatchewan sideline.
Thanks, John. We're here with the former CFL's all-time reception leader, Ray Elgard. And Ray, you summed it up best by saying, I guess if someone had to break the record, it was a Rider.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Don. He was a great teammate of mine, and you know, playing with him, I couldn't be happier for the guy. He really deserves it and worked his butt off for a lot of years, so I'm happy for him.
So tell me a little bit about making the trip up here when you heard you were invited.
Oh, I was excited. I enjoy coming up here and look forward to watching the game and look forward to seeing Don have some good success. So I just hope we can turn the score around.
Thanks, Ray. Let's go back to John.
Mitch Running made the catch there. Ray Elgard made some sensational catches all across Canadian Football League parks, but he was brilliant in this stadium for 12 seasons and held the record for the most catches until his partner, or at least former partner, Don Narcisse, broke it the other day in Edmonton.
If you talk to Elgard, he was the first one to tell you he was a push-off artist. He used the rules to his benefit, and good for him. I mean, his career and his numbers stand right up there with Narcisse.
Mitch Running got a couple. This is 2nd and 8. T.J. Rubley stands in. Now moving, and he has a target sliding out of the backfield. It's David Gamble, and Gamble will have another Blue Bomber first down. Rubley has really turned things around in the second quarter. He's looked very good.
He has looked good, and the reason is that he's moving effectively in the pocket. Sometimes you don't have to sprint when pressure comes to the other hash or the other sideline. You just have to adjust within the pocket and buy in a little bit of extra time to find your receivers. It's exactly what he did on that play.
Enough for a first down. Rubley has tossed for a touchdown to the newcomer, Mitch Running. Nice play. And that put the Bombers in front for the first time this afternoon. Deland McCullough. Wrapped up by Dwayne Patterson, number 98. I think about Patterson before with 6 sacks in the season to lead the Saskatchewan defense.
The Saskatchewan defensive line has had its criticism for not being able to stop teams with good ground games. Tonight hasn't been bad, but you can wear on them. You can outmuscle them at the point of attack. They're really dependent on Nelson Van Wade to have a good game, replacing Andrew Stewart out with orthoscopic surgery.
McCullough picked up 4. This is 2nd and 6. Bombers at their own 43. Spencer McLennan in there and in motion. Rubley looks in his direction. Far side of the field. McLennan turns it into a first down. Nice play across the 50-yard line.
And you got to like what Rubley's able to do in terms of his precision and his ability to take pressure and his confidence. And it was a tough throw to the opposite side shoulder and backside pressure by Tommy Henry. He's aware that that guy is right there behind him, but he waits and delivers the ball effectively.
As bad as 0-9 might seem for these Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Winnipeg still has an opportunity to make the playoffs. When you look at the records of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the BC Lions, the Bombers, with a bit of a win streak, could pass both those teams and take a run at a Western playoff spot. Here's Rubley on the run and throwing on the run. Whoa! It was a dangerous toss to the sidelines. Cotto Cotton, who was on the Saskatchewan practice roster and actually played a game for the Roughriders, was the target there.
You know, Rubley is making good decisions in terms of not panicking. Before, earlier in the season, he would set in the pocket. Now he's calm. He doesn't panic. He sees pressure, and he has faith athletically that he can make the first man miss. Then he buys time, hopefully completes a pass. Not in that situation there, but that's going to prove positive as the game goes on.
2nd and 10. Blue Bombers. Sean Millington out of the lineup. He's just gone to the Bomber locker room. Rubley has McCullough, and he's wrapped up short of a first down by Benson. Millington has a cut lip and has gone for stitches.
Well, there's 2 or 3 plays you should always run once a half, even once a quarter. One is a screen to the outside, a screen to the inside, and the hitch pass. It keeps defenses honest. It keeps players aware of the fact that you're going to hit people in the seam. So if you vacate an area, we'll find that area and complete a pass. It's always a good play to call.
Bob Cameron having an excellent season with a punting average of 45.6 coming into this one at Taylor Field. Across the 45 to get a deep kick away. Dexter Dawson lost it in the sun. It trickles into the end zone and will roll for a single point. So the Bombers add 1 more to their total. They have a 5-point lead on the Roughriders. It's Labor Day in Regina. Always a great time.
This sports break is brought to you by Midas. Car care, the way it should be.
Welcome to our TSN Newsroom, everybody. I'm Teresa Cruz. This just in from the West Coast. Dario Franchitti has just won the Vancouver Molson Indy. Also this afternoon, the Toronto Blue Jays were looking for a series sweep against the Boston Red Sox. We've got the highlights for you right from the Sky Dome. 8th inning, tied up at 7. Tony Fernandez on 3rd. Craig Graybeck lines one to the gap in left center. Picks up speed there on the bounce, and Fernandez will score. Graybeck winds up at 3rd. It is 8-7 for the Toronto Blue Jays. 9th inning, the Red Sox down to their final out. Robert Person on the mound. John Valentin, see you later, Alligator. Person with his first save as the Jays win at 8-7 to sweep the series. They are now only 5 games back that wild card. And just a reminder, coming up at TSN at 8:15 Eastern, the season premiere of NFL Sunday Night Football. That's all. See you at the half.
Your favorite CFL team now has their logo on your favorite credit card. It's the CFL MasterCard credit card. Support your team and take advantage of the benefits that over 346 million MasterCard cardholders worldwide are enjoying. Each stylized card has your team's logo on it. So support your team 12 months a year and pull out your card. Call 1-877-4CFL now for your CFL MasterCard credit card. When you pay with us, you play with us.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Taylor Field is almost full this afternoon. As we said earlier, they never call it a sellout in Regina because there's room to squeeze a couple more people right there into the end zone. Or how about these seats? These are the ones we had reserved for Duthie and Tillman had they been able to make arrangements to come to Taylor Field this afternoon. Unfortunately, they were unable to make airline reservations, so there's the fun you guys are missing. Here's Slack on first down, Saskatchewan. Don Narcisse, 3rd catch of the game. .452 to play in the opening half. What a beautiful day under sunny skies, 22 degrees. The breeze, no factor at all. And they had to water down the turf here.
They had to water down the turf because this is a sand AstroTurf type of surface, easy for the players to slip. So as long as it hits a little bit wet, it's better traction for both teams.
Perfect hot tub weather. 2nd down. Slack almost had it picked off, and it slid through to Dan Farthing. I thought the interception was there.
Well, you got
David Maeva, but you've got to squeeze it. Farthing comes up with a key catch for the Roughriders and a 17-yard gain.
And you got to hand it to Reggie Slack. After all the adversity and the thrown interception, he has the courage to set back in the pocket and just thread a needle here. This was incredibly close. Nice read by Maeva. Oh, that's about an inch and a half between an interception. Good play by Slack.
That is threading the needle.
Yes.
There's no question about that. Riders now across midfield by about a half a yard. 1st and 10 at the Bomber 54. 3 receivers near side. Slack got a little heat from Carter and got it away. Zarka made the catch, but he's wrapped up in a hurry. And Carter actually got through to put the heat on Reggie Slack.
Well, one of the best things you can do from a defensive lineman standpoint is stay in your lane, because when you bring pressure, sometimes that opens up free avenues. Grant Carter had a free run at Reggie Slack, and Reggie's going to remember that shot tomorrow.
That was more than heat. That was a hit.
That was a hit.
Second and 9 at the Bomber 53. Nice little center screen to Mike Saunders, and that's a big first down for the Roughriders, and a monster hit down there. Maurice Kelly, the Blue Bombers' leading tackler, up to make the stop there. 3 minutes till halftime at Taylor Field. It's a 13-yard gain, and the Riders threaten here.
All week, your men gave you 100%. Make that 110. So tonight, you're taking them for a well-deserved night out. There's only one problem. You don't have the Dodge Ram Quad Cab. It's got 4 doors, a choice of 4 powerful engines, and plenty of room for up to 6 people.
I feel really close to you guys.
JVC's GR-DVX, the next generation digital video camera that has it all. Built-in flash, amazing digital effects, super clear LCD viewfinder, and multimedia interface with video capture and PC editing. The GR-DVX, only from JVC.
The U.S. Open Grand Slam Tennis right here on TSN.
Every day, I study geography, study math, even science. I could be doing my homework right now, but this is my education.
Angels, Orioles, TSN, Saturday.
John Wells along with Chris Schultz. It's full at Taylor Field in Regina. We're having a good time here on Sunday afternoon of Labor Day weekend. Not many seats available here. They'll be sold out at Ivor Wynn in Hamilton tomorrow and at McMahon in Calgary on Monday afternoon as well. And that'll be the first game of the home-and-home series for the Eskimos and the Stampeders. They'll have the rematch for you next Friday night, as you saw there. Here's Saunders on first down, and he's wrapped up in a hurry. Lacey made the tackle. Friday Night Football comes your way from Commonwealth in Edmonton next Friday night. Stampeders are there. This is always a classic battle, too, along with the Labor Day afternoon game. You can still get tickets by calling the number on your screen.
And don't underestimate the Edmonton Eskimos. They'll be ready to play in that football game. They match up well, cornerback and secondary.
And Archer is back.
Yes.
Tomorrow afternoon. Second down, 11. Riders at the Bomber 41. Slack looks to the near side. Target is wide open. It's Don Narcisse inbounds. And we'll see where they spot the ball. He had to come back for it and only picked up 9. He needed 11.
Sometimes when you play a football team that consistently and constantly brings pressure, it opens up avenues in various parts of the football field. The one thing that Winnipeg does well, believe it or not, they stop the run effectively. They play good gap cancellation. They flow well to the football. They try to take that phase of your offensive team out of it and force you to run and pressure and make a big play.
Paul McCallum is 1 for 1 thus far this afternoon at Taylor Field. 2:14 till halftime. He hit from 44. This will be spotted at the 40-yard line. It's low and it's wide, sailing through the end zone for a single point. So the Riders could have used 3 there. They settle for 1. We'll take a break on CFL Live. It's a 4-point ball game, and it's Labor Day. It's always fun.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win, and you could win $1 million or a 27-inch Zenith color television. A Business Navigator personal organizer from Casio. The Minolta Dimage Pit digital camera. Corning's Revere Pro Line cookware. Or win a vacation trip for two to the Vias Vallarta Hotel via Air Transat, courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. Look for Purex bathroom tissue, Yoplait yogurt, or Yop yogurt drink. Now there's a million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
All week, your men gave you 100%. Make that 110. So tonight, you're taking them for a well-deserved night out. There's only one problem. You don't have the Dodge Ram Quad Cab. It's got 4 doors, a choice of 4 powerful engines, and plenty of room for up to 6 people.
I feel really close to you guys.
Two and 9 to halftime. The hometown Roughriders are 4 points in arrears to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on this Labor Day Sunday game.
And really, John, Winnipeg has played good football. I mean, this is very similar to a lot of their games, that they do things effectively, but there always seems to be a point with this football team, whether it's in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, where something dramatically happens and they kind of fold like a tent. And I don't know if it's going to happen in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, but they have to be aware of it.
This guy is feeling heat too on the other side of the field. The Riders are expected to win this football game. They're at home. They have their #1 quarterback back, and technically they've been a better team than the Blue Bombers. But the Bombers have played better in the second quarter after the Roughriders had a hot start. Winnipeg has its hands on the ball one more time. Beginning at the 35, Rubley to the far side of the field. He hit the target, but there was nowhere to go for Otto Cotton. Saskatchewan defense is allowing the most yards per game of any team in the CFL, 396. So that has been a problem. There's another ex-Bomber in Rough Rider green, Shannon Garrett.
And also Tommy Henry playing his first game at inside safety, and Vincent Danielson. He is the free safety and the key for Rubley tonight. Wherever he goes, Rubley has to throw the opposite, usually a cornerback.
It's 2nd and 10. Bombers at the 35. Rubley airs it out. Running was the target, and he wasn't running fast enough.
Well, usually Rubley, that's his best pass, straight down the football field, timing it on the seam. In this case, he had too much air under the football, and it's a tough pass to really develop, and it's a tough pass to perfect, because you have to throw hard, but you have to throw with a nice touch. In this case, too much air, too much of a touch, should have thrown it harder.
Bob Cameron having a solid afternoon for the Blue Bombers, averaging 50 yards per punt so far this afternoon.
For about 20 years.
Yes, and he's having a great year at 44 years of age. Ageless Bob Cameron. High and not quite as deep this time as Dex Dawson has it bounce away. And then it's off a Rough Rider, I do believe, and we'll see who gets control of this football. Flags are down. 42 yards the punt. Blue Bombers were everywhere down there. There's the discussion, and I guess it's going to be Saskatchewan football from the indication.
No yards. Winnipeg 22. First down.
I think he was saying 22, which would be John Kalin.
When you look at this first half at 15-11, it kind of is what we anticipated. Two football teams that have struggled, that have traded punches. Some plays working out pretty well, still making the mistakes. The big interception by Grant Carter. The second half will be interesting to see how each team's adjust. In talking to TJ Rubley, one of the things he was frustrated with is at the halftime he is not satisfied with some of the adjustments that they have put through in the Winnipeg system. They're going to have to do something to make him even more effective than he has been, whether it is sprinting him consistently or finding patterns for him.
Now the Blue Bombers really have to make adjustments in the dressing room at halftime because they have been outscored 57-18 in the third quarter. That's where the Bombers have lost an awful lot of their football games this season. So they have the lead at this point, have an opportunity to take the lead to the dressing room, but somehow or other they have to come out of the dressing room and put some points on the board in the third quarter in particular. Meanwhile, Slack has 1:27 with which to work in the second quarter. He has a first down here. Dex Dawson made the catch, and a nice run after that. There's a marker far side of the field. If it's against Winnipeg, it'll be a 14-yard Saskatchewan gain.
Maybe an offside.
Winnipeg number 31. Decline. First down.
David Maeva.
You know, as much as receivers and quarterbacks have to time their pass patterns, linebackers and defensive linemen have to time their blitzes too. And you look at Maeva here, he has to wait a split second before he makes that move to get pressure.
The pitch goes to Mike Saunders, and Saunders broke one tackle and grabbed maybe 3 or 4 yards. Lisi was there. Lisi has played well this afternoon for Winnipeg defensively.
The more you can get the ball to Mike Saunders, I think the more this offense can be productive. He's truly multi-purpose fullback, similar to Eric Blunt. You can use him on the outside, you can use him on the inside trap, and you can isolate him on a linebacker. You can also put him on the sideline, see if they're going to play a cornerback on him, and that's instant recognition of a zone.
Lacey held Saunders to a gain of 2. This will be 2nd and 8 Saskatchewan. Less than a minute to go till halftime. Riders are down by 4. Slack finds some running room and a big play for Saskatchewan. He's inside the 40 and the joint is jumping. Brandon Hamilton made the tackle. All of a sudden it opened up for Reggie Slack and he grabbed 17 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, Reggie Slack is one of the guttier quarterbacks in this league, because most quarterbacks in this situation, when they have to scramble, they'll do the baseball slide. But as Slack progresses on this play, says, the heck with that, I'm going to put it down and make the yards.
Slack with a hurry-up offense finds Narcisse, and they call it a catch at the 30-yard line.
This is a good move to set the tempo, to bring a different tempo as the clock kind of revolves now towards the second half. Get as many plays in as you can.
34 seconds till halftime. The Riders have an opportunity to hit the end zone, but a great opportunity to pick up points and narrow a 5-point Winnipeg lead going to the dressing room. Saskatchewan 1st and 10 at the Bombers' 29-yard line. 25 seconds unofficially on the clock. So Slack will try and use it wisely. He's got Mike Saunders. Wise play. Saunders stopped inside the 20 on a nice tackle, or he might have been able to turn the corner. Nick Ferguson might have saved a touchdown here.
Well, I'll tell you what, on this play, it's a crossing route, one of the hardest plays to complete. He hit Saunders right in stride. It was good pass blocking to buy him time. Saunders isolated on a bigger linebacker, and Wesley Leasley just outran him. That's the matchup they want. We were discussing earlier how you can use Saunders in a multi-purpose area in an offensive team.
Riders have called a timeout. I believe what they thought, looking back to the previous play, is they thought Narcisse was out of bounds and the clock was stopped. He was not out of bounds, so they wasted a few seconds, and it spun down to just 10 seconds remaining. So Slack has basically here, with that on the clock, one crack at the end zone and then try and get the field goal unit in there.
And usually when you have one crack in the end zone, your best percentage play is fade to the corner. Have your receiver fight for the football.
You can't have a long running play to get there, or they'll take the clock down unless Saskatchewan is able to make it. So 10 seconds unofficially on the clock. It is a first down here, Saskatchewan. Slack looks to the corner, now looks back the other way. He's hit as he passes, and it's almost intercepted at the goal line. Wouldn't that have been a play? 3 seconds on the clock, and had the Bombers held on to the ball, that would have ruined the field goal opportunity for Saskatchewan.
Well, completely. Actually, Reggie had time to get rid of this football. He could move to his left. He could look off the receiver on the left end in the corner route, looking back, and then the pressure got to him, throwing the football off balance, risky play.
Maeva had the opportunity right on the goal line to save 3 points here. Oh, no. My hands have turned to stone. That's David Maeva down there. It could have saved 3.
They will watch that 3 times tomorrow in film.
Absolutely. McCallum missed his previous field goal. He's good here, and that narrows the gap from a 25-yard field goal there. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders get 3 back. It's a 1-point ball game on CFL Live Labor Day Sunday at Taylor Field, and we'll send you back for halftime.
You're watching CFL Live. We're at the half. Here's your host, James Duthie.
All right, welcome back to Football Control. Kind of what we expected. Two struggling teams. You get a close football game, which anybody can still win. And I tell you, we gave TJ Rubley a hard time at the end of the first quarter after that interception, but he answers us with a good second quarter and a TD pass.
Hey, 15 points in a quarter. You got to feel good about TJ and the way he's playing. I think he's showing a lot more confidence, a lot more poise, and they're doing a good job of letting him be an athlete, getting him outside of the pocket and showing a different dimension of his athletic ability.
Now, we've seen this from Winnipeg several times this year where they've been ahead at the half or at least in the game, and usually when they collapse is sometime in the third quarter. How do they avoid that, or what do you think is going to happen this time?
Oh, I think, in looking at this game, the team that looks off balance right now is Saskatchewan. Who knows what's going to happen in the second half? But Saskatchewan looks confused. They're doing a very poor job of picking up Winnipeg stunts. They have not been able to run the ball at all, and they're just not getting their guys open. So I would think right now, if you're a Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan, you got to feel pretty good going into the second half.
Yeah, outscored 10-0 in the first quarter, 15-4. They outscore Regina in the second quarter, and it's 15-14. That all adds up to at the half in favor of the Bombers. TJ Rubley hasn't had much to celebrate this season, but his team has the lead at the end of one half. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Well, with 3 sellouts, this is the best attendance weekend the CFL has seen in years. And apparently in those crowds, a lot of young fans and a lot of new fans. With more, here's the Globe and Mail's Marty York with the inside stuff in the CFL.
At Large with Marty York.
Believe it or not, the CFL has become significantly more popular this season with kids. According to the most recent TV ratings received by the CFL, youngsters ranging in age from 2 to 18 are watching the league more than ever. TSN CFL ratings are up 16.5% overall compared with this time last year, but there's a remarkable 114% increase in viewers aged 2 to 18. These figures have CFL President Jeff Giles thrilled because the league has made it an objective for many years to get kids excited about the CFL again. For the past decade, the bulk of the CFL's fan base has consisted of fans who are 55 or older. Consider this Tracy Ham's final season in the CFL. At 34, Ham is in the 12th year of a distinguished career, and sources say he has been complaining lately about pain. The feeling in the Owls locker room is that Ham will return to his alma mater, Georgia Southern, where he'd become an assistant coach next season. But he continues to play well this season and is determined to finish his career with a Grey Cup, which Las Vegas oddsmakers recognize as a strong possibility. The Owls are still ranked slightly ahead of Wally Buono's Calgary Stampeders. Ham won't be the only Alouette to leave after this season. Michael Souls will also hang up his cleats. Souls intends to launch a full-time career in private business. And Jock Climie is close to beginning his career as a lawyer. Coach Dave Ritchie's contract expires, and there may be better offers waiting for him, possibly in Winnipeg, where Jeff Reinbold's status is shaky. Then there's Montreal's general manager, Jim Popp, perceived throughout pro football as something of a whiz kid. Popp could be in an NFL front office by next year. For CFL Live, I'm Marty York. Catch you on Friday night.
All right, thank you, Marty. And we'll have to pop the question to Jim next time we speak to him. I guess it's important that the Owls keep him.
Well, Jim Popp's done a terrific job. There's no question about that. The success they had in Baltimore, he played a big role in that, and the turnaround in Montreal has just been terrific. They also need to get Dave Ritchie back. That combination has worked for the Owls.
All right. As we head to break, let's have a look at our CFL standings. Of course, they will be affected by the play that happens this weekend, but up to date after last night's game in BC. Montreal on top of the East at 8-2. Hamilton could move into a tie with them tomorrow if they beat the Argos. If the Argos win, when we have the potential of a logjam at the top of the East. Now, out in the West, yes, the big game tomorrow, Calgary and Edmonton for first place overall. It looks like BC and Saskatchewan will be dueling it out for the final playoff spot. We'll be back right after this break.
Now the most trusted name in winter boots goes to work. Made to take whatever the work could dish out. Sorel protects you better, lasts longer, and feels more comfortable. Get Sorel working for you, whether you're kicking in or just kicking back. Sorel, rugged, Canadian, original.
All right, let's have a look at our first half statistics. Very even on the scoreboard and also in the statistical columns. Offensive yardage, we're very close between Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. And when you have a one-point game, you can expect this. Well, maybe not. Saskatchewan did put up some good passing yards late to go up 159 to 80. Net yards, well, they're up by about 83, still relatively close. And the turnovers, again, key for Winnipeg. All right, now one of the many things Winnipeg has not been able to do this season is get the big play. Jeff Reinbold's high-risk defense has been burned, I think, a lot more times than it's been rewarded. And that's what we saw early in this game. But I tell you what, they needed the big play. They finally got one from Grant Carter. And this was a turning point, perhaps, in the first half. Grant Carter with the interception that brings it back for a touchdown, and Winnipeg has a 15-14 lead. Now, right away, let's get you right back to St. Louis. It is 3-2 Cardinals, bottom of the 8th inning. Mark McGuire at the plate, still looking for number 61.
We would certainly like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals who used to call this ballpark home. This place is packed with close to 48,000 people hoping to catch McGuire, catch a pinch from Hudek, and tie Roger Maris with his 61st home run of the year. The Cardinals have just taken a 3-2 lead here in the 8th. Ball one from Hudek. These two faced one another here yesterday, and Hudek struck out McGuire. High heat. 1-1.
Struck out Mark McGuire with that same pitch, a letter-high fastball.
The 1-1 pitch. Back up. And the count now 1-2.
I think we're seeing a pattern develop here. John Hudek apparently has found the hole in McGuire's swing up above the top of the strike zone.
Too far up, 2-2.
He's up there one more time. One more rung.
A leadoff triple by DeShields, a sac fly by Jordan. Everybody relieved as the Reds had no legitimate opportunity to intentionally pass McGuire, and we await the 2-2 pitch from Hudek. Up the middle, diving stop by Boone, and the flip to first for the out. That's the second baseman on the other side of the second base bag who made the dive to his left to take a hit away from McGuire.
What a remarkable play that was by a remarkable defensive second baseman. This ball almost drags him into shallow center field. It's hit so hard. Terrific play by Brett Boone. Ball had a lot of topspin. Mark McGuire with that uppercut swing when he hits the top part of the ball. It's like a nasty overhand curveball. That ball got over Hudek's head and then dove straight down to the ground. Nice play by Brett Boone.
All right, Mark McGuire hitting a few balls hard today, but nothing towards the seats for number 61. Now, if he does get another at-bat today, of course, we will take you there live. But let's get back to some football now. Yes, 3 sellouts we were talking about on Labor Day weekend, so if you want a ticket for one of tomorrow's games, forget about it. But you can get one to a future game. Here's the ticket information for your favorite team.
And now, another TSN Sports Break.
Welcome back to our TSN Newsroom, everybody. I'm Teresa Cruz. Alex Zanardi was looking to clinch this year's Cart Points title at the Molson Indy in Vancouver. With just a few laps left, pole sitter Dario Franchitti passed Michael Andretti for the lead. And Franchitti went on to take the checkered flag and a $340,000 bonus for winning from the pole position. Alex Zanardi, though, finished 4th and clinches the Carts Point title. Just a reminder, coming up on TSN tonight at 8:15 Eastern, it's the season premiere of NFL Sunday Night Football. The Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. A couple of NFL scores for you now. It is Dallas leading Arizona 21-10. That's in the third quarter. And former CFLer Doug Flutie threw a touchdown pass to put Buffalo on the board, but they trail San Diego 13-7. That's all for now. See you soon.
A champion's pedigree.
We are a company built on engineering mastery. 300 gives us an all-out engineering car. It has put real fire and spirit into the whole job we do.
Introducing the all-new 99 Chrysler 300M Sports Sedan.
It's unique, and it's exciting, and it's a basic automotive experience.
The most horsepower, the most torque, and the widest stance in its class. The Chrysler 300M. The technology has changed, but the soul lives on.
CFL football is one tough game. Touch football is one fun game. Football Canada and Football Ontario invite you to have some fun. Join one of the many adult touch football leagues across Canada. The Canadian Football League, along with Molson Canadians, support their efforts. Call Football Canada or Football Ontario and get in the game.
Sumptuous coffee crisp. Bubbly cool peppermint aero. Playful little Smarties. Tantalizing creamy Oreos. Smushed into a cup of soft serve. It's the McFlurry at McDonald's.
When you sweat, Gatorade wants you to peel it off for a chance to win. Look under specially marked Gatorade labels for your chance at over $1 million prizes. You could instantly win a Nintendo 64-game system or pro sports gear licensed by the NBA, NFL, CFL, CHA, or Major League Baseball. And if you don't win instantly, don't sweat it. Collect Gator points and redeem them for your favorite pro sports gear. Or get to a Gatorade TSN sampling zone for more ways to win. Hit tsn.ca/Gatorade for details. It's going to get hot this summer, so quench your thirst with Gatorade and peel it off for a chance to win.
Reggie Slack and the Roughriders down by a point at halftime to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The air attack is brought to you by Sorel, and here's what Reggie's done. Rugged Canadian original footwear brings you the air attack, and there's Reggie.
Well, Reggie still has to be careful. He's had his most success in between the hash marks, but he's also been a couple times he's pressing the football, threading the needle. That leads to interceptions. He's got to make good decisions on the separation between the receivers and whether he can get that football there.
Westwood ready to get the second half underway. Labor Day weekend at Taylor Field in Regina. Dexter Dawson returning for the Roughriders. Out to the 35-yard line, and that's where Reggie Slack will take over. Don Narcisse is having quite an afternoon at Taylor Field. He was honored prior to the game for his record-setting catch last week. 831 career catches for Don Narcisse coming into this one. Ray Elgard, the guy who was his teammates for 10 years, was there to present the ball. It was Elgard's record that Don Narcisse broke last week in Edmonton. And then a touchdown, a 20-yard strike from Reggie Slack to give the Roughriders the lead. But now Saskatchewan trails by a point. It is first down as Mike Saunders grabs almost another Saskatchewan first down.
Well, this is it for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 5 times they've had leads in the third quarter, and 5 times something has happened within that third quarter to kind of shatter their belief system that they can win the football game. The third quarter has been the devil's quarter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Winnipeg has been outscored in that third quarter, 57-18 through the first 9 losses of 1998. 9 for Saunders, 2nd and 1 for Saskatchewan, and that should be a first down across the 45-yard line. Sean Daniels getting a rare carry for the Roughriders.
John, one of the best ways to combat a team that plays you aggressively and that blitzes is to run right at them. If they're going to come up to the line of scrimmage, challenge them with the big guys up front. You have physical mismatches, so it's good first down running the ball straight ahead.
The heat is on both coaches.
Oh, yeah.
This Labor Day weekend. Jim Daly has lost 6 games in a row. First down, Roughriders. Slack near side as Dex Dawson, who tries to spin his way away from Blue Bomber tacklers, but he's forced out short of the first down. Kelly was there, and so was Grant Carter.
Well, one of the things the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are doing exceptionally well are just the little things in football in terms of pitching and catching the football and the timing routes. Nice little movement by Slack, throws the ball hard, nice catch. As simple as that. Not all football teams are this good at the little things. Calgary is, Toronto is, but not necessarily the bottom football teams in the league.
The gain is 6. This will be 2nd and 4. Saskatchewan trailing by a point. Slack has his target right over the middle. Mike Saunders breaks 1, breaks 2, and he's gone, folks. Oh, baby.
Wow.
57 yards. Saunders finds the end zone.
And you know, Slack did a remarkable thing because they really didn't disguise that blitz, that interior pressure, and he found the open man. Nice adjustment, nice throw, touchdown. And we were saying the third quarter has not been good to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and within 3 plays, touchdown.
Classic Mike Saunders. The Riders back on top of the Blue Bombers at Taylor Field. McCallum nails the convert through. He's had a couple of knuckleballers this afternoon, and that was the old hook convert. But here's the play that makes the afternoon for Saskatchewan.
Well, right there you saw Brad Elberg again, but this time Reggie reads that perfectly and times it perfectly, and then Saunders sprints right down the middle of the field. Nice work by Reggie Slack and Mike Saunders working together, realizing the situation on defense.
You talked about this earlier, Chris, when Elberg made the safety blitz, that this might be open. And Slack pays for it, but...
He pays for it, but he completes the pass. I mean, Winnipeg has to be careful. I mean, if you repeat the same type of blitz 3 or 4 times within a short expanse of time, unless you're a stupid quarterback, and you're going to see that, and you're going to react accordingly. But I really think Saunders did a good job of seeing the same thing that Slack did. There's 3 people on the offensive football field that have to work together: the center, the quarterback, and the primary receiver.
Suddenly it's Saskatchewan by 6 as Blunt and McCullough drop back for McCallum's kickoff. This is Eric Blunt, chased back to the 2. Nice head of steam. There are markers down, and Blunt is forced out near the 27. 26 on the return, but what a scoring drive for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 4 plays to cover 75 yards. Saunders made the big one, and that was the key play, a 57-yard touchdown. It only took 2:13 into the quarter.
And this is a classic example of a football team going into the locker room and making a nice adjustment, realizing that repetitively this is what Winnipeg is banking on, that they're going to bring people right in the middle of the quarterback's face. And I can almost see the conversation in my mind between Daly, Reggie Slack, and Mike Saunders stating, if this scenario comes up, this is what we do, and it capitalized perfectly for a touchdown.
Markers down on the return. It's going against Winnipeg for an illegal block, so the Bombers will start back near the 12-yard line.
John, this is critical for Winnipeg because it's the repeated factor of a 2-and-out here. Just takes the belief system out of them that they can come back in the second half. They haven't been able to work through adversity. They must on this drive.
TJ Rubley played fairly well in the second quarter. He threw an interception in the first, and that cost Winnipeg 6. So he has to respond here. Nice fake. Rubley to his right, looking for a little space here, and is chased out of bounds near the 11-yard line. His gain will be 4 yards.
And I really think that Saskatchewan defensively is very aware of the opportunity they have right now. They'll probably play basically conservative because if they can get the ball back, the field position advantage based on the previous penalty, which is another thing that has haunted the Blue Bombers time and time again, will give them good starting point for offense.
But blowing the halftime lead, no matter how small, 5 times in 9 games really has to be weighing on this Blue Bomber football team. 2nd and 4. 2nd and 6, I should say. Rubley got it away. Markers are down far side. Catch is made, and there's nowhere to go for Cotto Cotton.
Well, I think somebody kind of took a shot at TJ, about a 1.5 seconds behind the play. But nice play by Rubley, gained positive yardage.
Holding. Winnipeg number 60. Repeat second down.
John Van Conant, that's the call out there. It's holding against Dave Van Conant.
That's the second penalty the last 3 plays. Something we expressed earlier. And penalties are, I mean, they're hard to really determine. But basically, if you're an individual, you have to learn how to be technique perfect. Well, holding penalties when you're not technique perfect.
Bombers are chased back to the 8-yard line. T.J. Ruble looks at 2nd and 14. Dylan McCullough needs a block and didn't get it. He's back near the original line of scrimmage, but a 3rd down situation.
Well, but not a bad decision by Jeff Reinbold. I mean, you have 2 options. You can go for the 1st down and kick out of your end zone, where you can get some type of positive yardage and try to pin them back best as you can. Because right now, this is the critical part of time in terms of points. Another touchdown by Saskatchewan can kill Winnipeg.
Well, and the Riders are going to get decent field position on the exchange here.
Boy, and you can see Jeff Reinbold with his hands on it. He's thinking about it right now. He knows this is critical.
Bob Cameron back at his 2. Dex Dawson awaits for Saskatchewan near his 50-yard line. Dawson looks for room to his left. Finds a little bit. Knocked off balance right on the midfield stripe and forced back after an 8-yard return. Saskatchewan on top by 6. It's CFL Live.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won Dirt Devil MVP Swivel Glide Vacuum with patented rear swivel casters and the Ultra Hand Vac with onboard tools. Dirt Devil, powerful vacuums that are incredibly easy to use. Or a Zenith 27-inch digital-ready stereo television with 530 lines of resolution, universal night vision glow-in-the-dark remote, and SEQ front surround sound. Zenith Entertainment, just like they like it. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Most running backs train for speed. That's because they're looking for the path of least resistance. Me, I train mainly for power. Because I'm thinking, who needs a path?
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
The Bombers had the lead at halftime. Now they're down by 6. Jeff Reinbold suffering through the worst start in Blue Bomber team history. Let's bring in Ray down on the sidelines with an injury report.
Thanks, John. A couple of injuries. Sean Millington has 12 to 15 stitches inside his mouth from a pop he took in the first half. The Bombers are hoping he is going to be back. Linebacker Larry McSeed for the Riders likely won't be back. He has a strained rear portion of his knee, and he likely will not come back to the ballgame.
Riders on 1st down. Mike Saunders gets the call, and he's close to 5 yards.
You know, we're watching Saskatchewan here offensively. It's one of the better games we've seen them, similar to earlier in the season. I can't help but think left tackle John Terry has made an impact here. Missed 3 or 4 games with orthoscopic surgery, has come back. And it's a funny thing about offensive line play. If you take one prominent performer out, it's like taking a card out of a deck of cards. It just collapses on itself. Terry's an important part of that offensive line.
You guys,
we stick together.
I know you do. When I sit beside Suter, he just talks about safeties.
I know.
2nd and 5, Saskatchewan with a 6-point lead. Slack has time, and now it evaporates. He'll have to scamper out of there. Carter can't quite catch him. Slack has a target far side. It'll be a 1st down, Saskatchewan. Another catch by Don Narcisse and a marker down as Narcisse went out of bounds.
Well, nice play by Reggie Slack to give a double option for the cornerback. Are you going to come up and tackle me, or I'm going to dump it off and get it to my receiver?
Foul. Major foul. Winnipeg number 31. 1st down.
David Maeva is having a horrible football game.
And you know, John, that's a personal player. You can coach a guy for 10 years, but how do you coach him not to make a mistake like that? That's you evaluate teams in terms of penalties, and it's basically down to an individual. It's got to be the single most frustrating thing for Jeff Reinbold, because I mean, this is an experienced player. He knows that his hands cannot be above the shoulder pad. He can't reach for the helmet area.
So now the Riders are set up at the Bomber 21-yard line with a chance to add to a 6-point lead. Slack to his left. Missed the target there, but it draws a flag on the coverage. Narcisse was the target. And Patrick Burke was covering. He is likely about to be centered out.
I really thought Saskatchewan would pick on Patrick Burke. The other corner, Hamilton, has more experience and has been more successful in situations.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 36. First down.
Back-to-back penalties against Reinbold's Blue Bombers.
Well, here we are right here. Patrick Burke. Right here, excuse me. He's going to come up and he's going to make the play, but you still have to tackle with technique and you have to be aware of circumstances. Well, you know what? That one's open evaluation.
You're not sure about that?
Excuse me, Patrick.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. The referees didn't. It's first down, Saskatchewan. Across the 5-yard line. Mike Saunders gets a little closer to that Winnipeg Blue Bomber goal line. Mike Saunders with a touchdown to put the Riders on top on a great pass and run play. Broke 2 tackles and made it to the end zone.
You know, Mike Saunders' career really has been up and down in Toronto. He's used as a slot back, not as a deep set tailback. Best decision he ever made was to get back in the Riders' fold.
Saunders had a 57-yard touchdown in the third quarter. Now the Riders are looking at 2nd and goal to go from the Blue Bomber 4-yard line. Slack with time. Tipped. Saunders was the target.
You know, Reggie,
and the Bombers dodge one there.
They sure do. I appreciate your courage, but David Maeve stepped in front of the pass, and you know, as much as you have the penalties, you have to capitalize on those opportunities. Reggie still has to have patience on how he throws the football. You're 4 yards away from a touchdown. You don't necessarily have to thread the needle there. That should have been an interception for Winnipeg, but it's similar to the whole penalty issue.
It was Maeva who had the interception chance just at halftime. Right on the goal line. That would have saved 3 points.
Yep.
Had a chance for another interception there, but at least he didn't get through for the touchdown. McCallum good on 2 of 3. This is a 12-yard chip shot. Gets a little air under this one.
Yes, he did.
Those line drives he was nailing earlier. The Roughriders have come back. They lead the Blue Bombers 24-15. A long way to go this Sunday afternoon in Regina.
CFL football is one tough game. Touch football is one fun game. Football Canada and Football Ontario invite you to have some fun. Join one of the many adult touch football leagues across Canada. The Canadian Football League, along with Molson Canadians, support their efforts. Call Football Canada or Football Ontario and get in the game.
Introducing new McCain Golden Crisp Waffles, made waffle iron thick to stay fluffy on the inside while toasting up golden and crisp on the outside. Treat yourself to the real waffle iron taste of new McCain Golden Crisp Waffles. Waffle iron thick to toast up light and crispy every time.
Welcome back to TSN Control. Well, immortality will have to wait one more day for Mark McGuire. 5-2, the Cards beat the Reds, but Mac finishes 0 for 3 with a walk. Also, Pittsburgh beats the Cubs 4-3. Sammy Sosa 0 for 3. He remains stuck at 58. Now, the Jays play Cleveland tomorrow. We have that for you at 1 Eastern. And the Cubs play the Cards. We'll be all over that one with every at-bat from McGuire and Sosa. For now, let's send you back to Regina. Here's John and Chris.
And we'll follow those swingers tomorrow. McGuire and Sosa go head-to-head in St. Louis, and wouldn't it be wonderful if Sosa came up with a home run tomorrow in his first at-bat, and those guys slugged it out for 2 days in St. Louis to decide this thing?
Well, you know, it's so unique that you have 2 people close to a record that hasn't been broken in such a long time. Entertainment at its best.
And they're head-to-head for
Yep.
2 games starting tomorrow. We'll keep you posted on that right now. The Bombers are trying to erase a 9-point deficit. Eric Blunt out to the 30-yard line, and that's where T.J. Rubley will take over after a 20-yard return. What does Rubley have to do here and now?
Well, I think more than anything, he has to get back into the same type of passes that he completed early. Like, he has to have production in the first series on the first play to get him in 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, because then he can just do the out pattern or the crossing pattern. He doesn't have to look 10 to 15 yards deeper, which is some of the situations he's had to be in where he's had to make the play by himself.
It's gone to the left a little more than the right so far today. 5 of 7. To Rubley's left thus far. Touchdown toss went that way. McCullough to the 35.
Now that's a positive play because we have a 2nd and 6, a 2nd and 5, and that distance, that 1, 2, 3 yards opens up so many different avenues in your playbook. It just opens up the screens, it opens up the hitch passes, it opens up plays that you're not sure about whether they're going to get 5 or 10 yards, but you're confident you'll get the first down.
Dylan McCullough playing in his 3rd game as a Blue Bomber. His numbers today. 2nd and 5. Bombers at their own 35-yard line. 7:30 to go, 3rd quarter. Winnipeg had the lead at halftime. They've given up 9 points in the 2nd half, and Rubley running for his life. Finally fired it on the far side. That was Ken Benson just back in the Rough Rider lineup chasing him down.
Boy, did they miss him. One thing about Kenny Benson, he has that one quality you need in linebackers in the Canadian Football League, and that is speed. And you can see him, he accelerated exceptionally well towards Rubley, forced the issue, and then Rubley, when he's so conscious of someone tackling him, he doesn't have time to look down the field. All he has to do is he's trying so hard to get rid of the ball and not have negative yards, and Ken Benson chases him very effectively here. Little dive at the end.
Just had to unload it. Cameron is out kicking his opponents. McCallum so far this afternoon. Nice average there on a day where wind really isn't a factor. This is deep. Dexter Dawson. He's going nowhere. Wrapped up in a hurry by Doug Hocking just back into that Bomber lineup. -3 on the return.
Well, nice coverage by Winnipeg.
Hocking played 3 last year with the Blue Bombers. Special team player for the most part. Had a couple of sacks though along the way.
Well, with this lead with Reggie Slack, he has the opportunity here to use really his whole playbook. He's not anxious about scoring points. You have the lead. You know if they blitz it, you have the confidence to read it and find the vacant area. This is a great opportunity for their offense to put some first downs together.
And it's another crucial situation for the Bomber defense to get the ball back in a hurry. Or better still for Winnipeg, make a big play here on Reggie Slack. Slack standing in. Dexter Dawson open far side. Nick Ferguson was covering and forced him out, but not before Dawson had a substantial gain. 26 yards for Dexter Dawson.
Great separation by Dexter Dawson, but in reality, these guys right here did one heck of a job in terms of allowing time for Reggie Slack to go through his 1, 2, 3 reads. Originally, Reggie looks to the left, looks off the safety, finds the opening, and look at the separation here by Dawson. I know he ran that pattern effectively well because of the distance between him and the defensive back.
So now it's 1st and 10 Rough Riders. At the Saskatchewan 51, Slack has looked pretty sharp. Looking deep for Thompson, and it was too far.
Well, Reggie got a little bit anxious on that one because they brought Maurice Kelly again on the safety blitz, and they had some seams in the opening, but sometimes when you have success deep, you just have that feeling that you're going to complete the play. You feel hot, you feel anxious, you're ready to go. I want to get a big chunk of yardage. Good play by Slack.
Here's Maurice Kelly. He is the Blue Bombers' leading tackler, and that's not really good news when he's the safety, is it?
No, it isn't, because anytime you're your free safety right there is your leading tackler, that means you're not taking care of the point of attack. But notice how Slack moves away from that pressure, picked up effectively, and not a bad throw considering the time that he had, the distance he had to cover.
He is also the most solid member of that Blue Bomber secondary, and one of 2 key players on defense.
Yes.
Slack on 2nd and 10. Escapes, has a chance for the first down, and he gets it. What a brilliant run by Reggie Slack. From remember him last year in the playoffs, in the Western semifinal in Calgary, and the Western final in Edmonton.
You know what I like about this is it develops emotion within your offense. The players rally around a quarterback that is taking physical risks to get first downs. And you look at Reggie Slack, as I said previously, most quarterbacks would slide, they would get the yardage and feel pretty good about it. Watch this little finesse move here, right over Maven. That's a nice play by the quarterback, Reggie
He's about
Slack.
a half a yard shy, Chris.
Right, okay.
But they'll measure just to be sure and get the spot correct. 5:16 to go. In the third quarter, it's the Roughriders on top of the Blue Bombers, 24-15. Saskatchewan trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. The Bombers trying to snap an 0 for 9 1998.
And you know what's tough about being 0 for 9 is every day you have to go to work and you hear it from everybody. Hey, how are you? You're 0 for 9. People forget your first name. They say, hi, you're 0 for 9. It becomes a big part of your life.
Were you 0 for 9 ever in your career?
I was 3-13 one time.
Well,
that was pretty
that's
tough.
That's better than 0
yes.
and 9, I guess.
Yeah.
You weren't 0 and 9 on your way to 3 and 13.
No, not quite.
Third down, less than a yard to go. Riders go gambling here. They'll try and get inside the 50. Slack himself, he doesn't have it by much, but it should be a Rough Rider first down. It's been a struggle for both teams. Between them, they have 2 wins in 1998. Winnipeg, 9 straight losses, outscored 268 to 150, last in the East Division. The Riders have lost 6 straight, as mentioned, outscored 192 to 104, and that's good for last in the West. Reinbold really looking for a solution. And it looked for a while in the second quarter like he might have found a little something, but in the third quarter, the Bombers' nemesis, things have fallen apart again. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan at the Blue Bomber 49. It's been all Rough Riders in the second half. This guy has been brilliant. Saunders caught from behind, wrapped up by David Maeva. Nice tackle there. The gain is 3.
But it was a good play because initially they brought motion to the left side of the football field, countered with the left, or the other side towards the right, and that's the #1 thing you want to do because it influences these guys like Maeva. He ended up making the tackle, but still he's the one that took 2 steps to his right and then had to react to his left. That's a good call for this situation.
Joe Fleming has been rock solid for the Blue Bombers up front. That's one of the strengths of this defense, and Fleming is the strength of the group up front with 9 sacks on the season.
Notice now, John, the crowd is starting to get into it. This is advantage Saskatchewan because there's going to come an audible situation and they're not going to give TJ Rubley a break.
They have the wave going at Taylor Field. The Riders looking at 2nd and 7. Slack missed the target. It was Dan Farthing. Marker far side on the coverage upfield.
Well, if they don't call a penalty on the coverage upfield, they should call a penalty on Maurice Kelly on Dan Farthing. Grab the jersey. We can see it all the way up here from our spotter's booth.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Winnipeg #3. First down.
You think they know football in Saskatchewan?
That's right.
Listen to the crowd. They knew the call was going in their favor.
And you know what's funny about this scenario now that Saskatchewan's taking over the game a little bit? This is all self-destructive plays by the Blue Bombers. It's not necessarily as much great plays by the Riders, but the Bombers are accumulating penalties and they're making stupid decisions.
Riders began this drive back at their own 25-yard line. Slack has another first down. Larry Thompson makes the catch. Patrick Burke makes the hit, but the Rider drive continues, and Thompson has not been a feature performer in the offense thus far. Burke has struggled at times this afternoon. He was beaten by Narcisse for the big touchdown.
Well, watch this hit right here. Bang, bang. Oh, boy, we'll feel that in the morning. Those are the type of things that wide receivers, that's how they earn their money. They don't necessarily have a bunch of fights, but when they get hit, they get whacked.
So the Rider drive continues. Another Saskatchewan first down. And they call Mike Saunders' number one more time. 57-yard touchdown early in the third quarter for Saunders. And that really broke things open for Saskatchewan.
Well, right now, you know, really offensively, Saskatchewan has Winnipeg on their heels. I mean, they're using different formations, they're using counters. You can use your entire playbook. You don't have to be as worried about the linebackers because you can run some running plays to control that threat of pressure.
5 more for Mike Saunders. 2nd and 5, Saskatchewan. Now at the Bombers' 16. Slack as Saunders breaks the tackle. There's the touchdown. Mike Saunders has 2 touchdowns in the second half, and he's had to work hard for both of them. Breaking a couple on the 57-yarder and breaking one there.
Well, he worked hard for both of them, but it was an intelligent play again by Mike Saunders because they did bring the interior part of their defense. Reggie Slack and Mike Saunders looked at each other, knew what the adjustment was, completed the pass, broke the tackle, touchdown.
So the Riders have doubled the count and added 1 more on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They trailed at halftime, but it's been all Saskatchewan and Reggie Slack and Mike Saunders in the second half. Slack celebrates 1 more Rider TV.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If your name appears, you won a fabulous trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Villas Vallarta Hotel and fly Air Transat, all courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. $1 Million Touchdown to Win at Safeway Food and Drug.
Now the most trusted name in winter boots goes to work. Made to take whatever the work could dish out. Sorel protects you better, lasts longer, and feels more comfortable. Get Sorel working for you, whether you're kicking in or just kicking back. Sorel, rugged, Canadian, original.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. Participating products include Sunkist, not from concentrate juice, Big Pickles, Green Giant vegetables. Now there's 1 million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
Saskatchewan has scored 17 unanswered points in the third quarter.
Here's the reason why. There's Saunders, there's Kelly, there's Reggie Slack. They're kind of looking at each other, knowing that this guy's coming, reading his body language, and as the play unfolds, they're working together to adjust the route, find the open area, complete the pass, but still broke the tackle for the touchdown. Nice play by 3 veteran football players.
Saunders with a couple of touchdowns in the second half. He now has 5 on the season. And a pretty impressive scoring drive here. 85 yards covered in 9 plays.
Yep.
Saunders, the 16-yard catch. Penalties hurting the Bombers again, Chris.
Yep.
Interference.
Well, the penalties are so detrimental because it's like a freebie. I mean, you work and you work and you work, then you make a stupid penalty, and you're giving that offensive team the positive yards.
Time is running out on the Blue Bombers, and there's a quarter to go. Eric Blunt had 1 big return, tries to swing to the outside here. But he's run down and forced out by Curtis Gallick. And he's into the cheap seats over there, almost into the dugout.
Well, Mike Saunders right now is probably the most versatile player, most available player for Saskatchewan in this game. And really being the point of attack tailback the way he is, that's how you have to use him. There's his first reception, breaks the tackle, sprints downfield. Once again, an adjustment, an intelligent play.
Time of possession is a big story for the Roughriders at this point. Look at that, 7 minutes, the difference between these two. TJ Rubley down by a bunch, has to find a way to answer as David Gamble playing his 2nd game for the Blue Bombers.
And what I like about that play is you had about 4 Saskatchewan Roughriders around the football. What they have to do now, because they do have an advantage in time of possession, is tackle effectively. If he's going to throw an underneath pattern, tackle him ASAP.
Gamble picks up substantial yardage at 2nd and about 1.5 yards. Bombers at their 46-yard line. Dylan McCullough should have the first down. First down for the Bombers in the third quarter. That's how bad it's been.
I know. what the problem is, as games progress, there comes a point of no return, and then you have to start airing the football out because you just don't have enough time.
I think I'd cancel the pep talk at halftime
Yes.
if I were the Bombers right now, because the third quarter has really
Pep
killed
talks,
them.
they just don't work.
It's not working this season. T.J. Rubley did have a decent second quarter. Bombers have a first down. Rubley near side. The ex-Rough Rider, Otto Cotton, picks up a Bomber first down, and that should be the final play of quarter number 3. It was a disaster for the Blue Bombers, surrendering 17 points. Happy times for now at Taylor Field with a quarter to go.
You're watching CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Here's your host, James Duffy.
Yes, if football games in the CFL lasted 30 minutes, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers would be a half-decent team. But they last 60, and the Bombers are just brutal in the second half. What is it? Can they just not make halftime adjustments?
Well, part of it's adjustments, but so much of football is mental, and it looks now like Winnipeg has the attitude, if something goes wrong in the third quarter, it's almost like, here we go again, and they just have a total breakdown. They've now been outscored in the third quarter after 10 games, 66-18. It's just unbelievable.
Now, it's not just things that Winnipeg is doing wrong. It'll also what Saskatchewan is doing right, and Mike Saunders the key in that third quarter. That first touchdown set the stage against the Bombers right away. Just as we said, the Bomber people in Winnipeg were probably saying, here we go again right away. Mike Saunders has been great.
Hey, from Winnipeg's standpoint, live by the sword, die by the sword. They blitz. Reggie Slack does a nice job of reading it. Mike Saunders takes it to the house. Big
All right.
touchdown, bad dance.
Yes, and another, I like that, another brutal third quarter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, one more note to Chris Schultz. Eric and I wanted to say, you know, we've been ribbing you a lot the last couple of days, but we do want you back. I want this message clear to John Wells. This is only a rental. Mr. Schultz, we want you back in this chair somewhere along the way. Let's send it back to John and Chris for fourth quarter action.
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina. It's the usual meeting on this day. Every year, the Blue Bombers come to town, and Jeff Reinbold has been here 2 years in a row as head coach. Last year he won. This year he had the lead at halftime. Right now, he's down by a bunch, 31-15 after a horrible third quarter. Look at the numbers. 364 net yards for Saskatchewan.
And the 291 yards passing have been really a combination of several things, but probably the key issue is the fact that Reggie Slack, Mike Saunders, and his passing offense are on the same page. Winnipeg's blitzes, they adjust, they capitalize.
First and 10 for the Blue Bombers to begin the fourth quarter at Taylor Field. They're starting at the Rider 46, and they really have to get started now. McCullough for about 4.
And Jeff Reinbold has to make a decision how he's going to play out this last quarter of football here. You can nickel and dime and stay structured. You're only at 16 points behind. You get that first touchdown, the game gets closer and closer. Then it's one big play away. What's critical now is defensively, Winnipeg has got to have Saskatchewan a series of 2-and-outs to allow them to develop an offense based on taking what the defense gives you.
2nd and 7. Bombers are inside the Saskatchewan 45. Rubley had time. McCullough makes the catch on the little screen and makes a big play out of it. He's inside the 30-yard line.
And this is good play calling, because really what Saskatchewan, the number one thing they don't want is the big play, the sideline pass, the fade pattern for a touchdown. Throw the screens, throw the counters, get first downs. You still have time. Use the time. You can't get points quick. You have to earn them.
Typical of this Blue Bombers season, when Kevin Mason was at quarterback, he tried to throw the ball into the stands after a rare Bomber touchdown. Chris, he missed the stands and threw it down the tunnel. That was a couple of games ago. Bombers have a chance here. Rubley for DeBuck. And do they rule it a catch? His first catch. Whistled down near the 25-yard line.
Well, still positive yardage. The out pattern is the hardest. pass pattern to complete for a young quarterback, but Rubley's getting better and better at it. Threw it to the spot where DeBuck could get it low, but really DeBuck has to use his ability to get up and off his knees and gain positive yards. That's the reason you put him in a one-on-one situation. You're banking that your guy can beat their guy.
He's a guy Eric Tillman discovered out of Texas Tech.
That's correct.
The bad story about DeBuck is that he's the #1 receiver on this team, and he only has 16 catches. But he made one there and keeps this Bomber drive moving. Rubley goes for 6, and he just missed the target. It was David Gamble reaching for it.
And, you know, we were talking about the Bomber offense and the fact they've had so many wide receivers and slot backs, and I'm looking through the CFL statistics, and I'm curious. I'm saying, where is the Bombers' #1 pass receiver? And I'm looking, and I go 34 places until I find Matt DeBuck. That means that every team has 4 receivers ahead of anything that Winnipeg has. So when you look at this in the context of offensive football, Rubley is not getting a support system that he needs to complete a majority of passes.
And when you look at the top 2 receivers on the Bomber list, both have left the team. Larry Thompson and Chris Armstrong still have more catches in Winnipeg than any of the other receivers. Here's Westwood with Cameron holding. His first try of the afternoon is good from 32 yards, so the Bombers shave a little off the lead, but it's a long way back. This is CFL Live from Taylor Field.
Play Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won VTEX 900 megahertz digital cordless telephone with visual name and number call waiting caller ID, featuring 50 caller ID memory, 20 number speed dial storage, and backlit keypad. Or a Samsung Hi8 Hi-Fi stereo camcorder with color viewfinder, 12 times optical power zoom, built-in lens cover, and remote control. Simply treasured for now and for always. Simply Samsung. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Your favorite CFL team now has their logo on your favorite credit card. It's the CFL MasterCard credit card. Support your team and take advantage of the benefits that over 346 million MasterCard cardholders worldwide are enjoying. Each stylized card has your team's logo on it. So support your team 12 months a year and pull out your card. Call 1-877-4CFL now for your CFL MasterCard credit card. When you pay with us, you play with us.
Elvis Stoico gives his all. No holds barred. Nothing held back. Just full out with everything he's got. Like McCain Frozen Punch goes full out with thirst-quenching flavors like grape, orange, and fruit punch. McCain Frozen Punch delivers the real fruit taste of real fruit juice every time. For champions like Elvis. When you want it all, go for the real taste of McCain Frozen Punch.
McCain, full out taste every time.
It's not quite time for Saskatchewan head coach Jim Daly to relax, but he must be feeling a little bit better with a 31-18 lead and a real solid performance in the third quarter by his team.
Solid performance, and really, if you look at the Edmonton game, they were down 28-0 in the first quarter. That did not transfer into this football game. The Riders are ready to play.
Saskatchewan with Slack at the controls on first down, and he missed the target. I'm not sure who was intended there. Farthing was in the area, and he might have been the main aim of Slack.
You know what, John? You looked at Wesley Lisi on this play, and that is the one thing that he can bring to this team in terms of effort and pursuit and speed. He has all the athletic ability you need in a linebacker. He's 6'4". He's 245 pounds. He has a great football background. He's very gifted. And this is one of the first times I've really seen him let loose, chase a quarterback with intensity, grab him and make a play. Wesley Lisi has to come through and make more plays for the Bombers to be effective.
2nd and 10, Saskatchewan. All on the Roughrider 35-yard line.
Here they come.
Here's the Heats. Saunders makes the catch. He's had a great ball game. Don Robinson over covering on Saunders, and Slack put the ball on the money.
And they're effectively using him in terms of matchups, starting him on the inside and kind of taking him right across the football field. And anytime you can pick up the blitz by that extra second, it's amazing how much 1 second means in football. That allows your receivers, if it's a zone, to find the seam, either accelerate or decelerate and be open. If it's man, it gives them that extra second to create separation based on their abilities.
Nice numbers for Mike Saunders. Couple of touchdowns here. in his 7th season in the CFL. He's been to Saskatchewan a couple of times.
Well,
on his second trip after arriving here last year, he's had a real nice run.
One thing I really like about the Canadian Football League is you have players on each team that are very multi-purpose. They're not just running backs, they're not just fullbacks. They're players that can run inside, they can run outside, they can run from a wide receiver position. Saunders is like that. There's a lot of things he can do and be effective. And Eric Blunt is like that with Winnipeg. It just doesn't seem that Winnipeg uses Eric Blunt to the same advantage in terms of positioning, in terms of alignment, the way Saunders is being used today.
Timeout for an injury. Don Robinson is down from that Blue Bomber secondary. We'll check that out and take a quick break from Taylor Field.
Welcome to our TSN newsroom, everybody. I'm Teresa Cruz. The Toronto Blue Jays were looking to close the gap in the wild card race today. They entered the game 6 games back of Boston going into this one at the Sky Dome. 8th inning, tied up at 7s with Tony Fernandez on third, Craig Grebeck lines one to the gap in left center. And Fernandez will score. Grebeck winds up at third, and you can make it 8-7 for the Jays. So let's see if they can close her down. 9th inning, the Red Sox down to their final out. Robert Person on the mound. John Valentin, see ya. Person with his first save as the Jays win at 8-7 to sweep the series, now only 5 back. Don't forget, coming up at 8:15 Eastern, it's the season premiere of NFL Sunday Night Football, Oakland and Kansas City. We're going to take you back to Taylor Field right after this, and I'll see you at Sports Desk after the CFL game.
That's a family of 4. They are over 2,000 feet away. Can you hear them? A shark can. And he can reach them in less than 44 seconds. It's coming. Take a deep breath and get ready to take the plunge. Shark Week, September 13th to 18th, only on Discovery Channel.
From Taylor Field, the game story is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends. See you tonight. That's what we see. Slack has had a nice afternoon, 311 passing.
Really, and when I was talking to him early before the game, he was very relaxed, very confident. I said, how's the abdominal pull? He says he still feels it, but that's not going to stop him from producing. It's been Slack's one of his best games ever since the first game against Argonauts.
Saunders, too, and Carter has accounted for a key Winnipeg touchdown, but it's not enough right now. There he is again, Mike Saunders, and just powering his way into first down territory. We'll see where they spot it, but I think he might have that necessary 10 yards.
Well, what's so impressive about this play is really he didn't have any contact until the linebacker safety area. And as long as they consistently do this, they're going to chew the clock down and make it their advantage and really put Winnipeg in a situation where they've got to go to spread offense. They have to work on matchups, and that's not what Rubley and their offense does exceptionally well.
Saunders, 9 carries, 52 yards so far, 5 receptions for 118 and a couple of touchdowns. He knew where the first down yardage was, or at least where he had to get for a first down.
But it's funny, you know, John, it's funny about running backs. Some running backs have the ability to either visualize in their mind or have a feel in their effort level to get the first down by a half-inch or a yard. Saunders is doing that today.
The Roughriders are desperate to snap a 6-game losing streak. The other running back, Sean Daniels, number 35, gets an opportunity. I don't know if you saw it, but a helmet rolled out of there.
James Monroe.
James lost his hat.
Yep. But that's a good sign. That means he's into the game. He's hitting out somebody hard enough that his own helmet gets knocked off.
Doesn't that hurt going over the ears?
It does. I mean, it is accumulative, but it's only believe it or not, you get used to it after a while.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, one of the biggest thing players want is to get hit early in a game, because then their adrenaline comes in, then their aggression comes in. There's nothing worse than running and playing and have no contact.
Well, I'll take your word for that.
Yes, that's true.
Narcisse to the near side on 2nd and 9, Saskatchewan. Bomber 45-yard line. Slack has time. Narcisse was the target, and Burke had an opportunity, but couldn't squeeze it. That would have been 6.
You know, Reggie,
the other way.
He is an interesting quarterback because he's the type of quarterback that will take several risks to make a play. And you look at this football here, hanging in the air forever. Burke has enough time in terms of recovery to break up the pass. It's a risky play. It produces great dividends when it's completed. But, boy, it has to be that quick assessment as to whether he realizes how fast that cornerback is in closing out. He hung up there for a little while, thrown behind Narcisse instead of front of him. If it had been in front of him, perhaps it would have been a reception.
So it'll be third down. McCallum is in, so is Blunt. One big return for Eric Blunt earlier. And this one sails by him. It'll sail for a single point, one would guess, because Blunt has nowhere to go here but give up a point.
Give up a point, but really it was a good coaching moment there to have McCallum position the football to the inside, to the sideline of the field to get the bounce. In some situations, they would have tried to directly punt the ball directly through the goalpost, but that gives the opportunity for the return. Nice positional punting by McCallum. Not necessarily good for his average, but when you assess this, that's exactly what you should do in that situation.
Bombers 0-9 coming into this one, and here's why it was so important. Had Winnipeg been able to pull off a victory, and there's still 9:37 to go, but they'll need a bit of a miracle, they would jump right into the Western playoff race. One game behind Saskatchewan with a game against the Roughriders next week, and only 2 wins behind BC. So Winnipeg still has playoff opportunities with an 0-9 mark coming into Labor Day weekend in Regina. Here's Rubley. No catch. David Gamble was the target. Eric Sutton was covering, and number 13 won the day there.
Well, you know, sometimes it's difficult to criticize receivers and slot backs because you've never played the position, but David Gamble still has to get this football and protect it. He just catches it well with his hands, but that last second he has to squeeze it and bring it into his body.
Out of San Diego State, Eric Sutton arrived September 6th. 6 starts in the pros. That was September 6th last year. Was around for the Grey Cup run. Here's T.J. Rubley on first down, sliding safely for another. He's out across the 45 to about the 47, 13 yards for T.J.
Well, you know what? With 8:45 left in the football game, there's going to be more and more situations where T.J. Rubley has to make the play himself. If your first 2 reads are there, and even if your first read isn't there, you have to make positive yardage. This is the smart thing to do because of the limited time available.
32-18, Saskatchewan leading Winnipeg. The Riders need a couple of touchdowns, or the Bombers need a couple of touchdowns to get back into this. Blunt in motion. Rubley finds him far side. Eric Blunt can't get away from a nice tackle by Vincent Donaldson.
See, and that's the point on this play, is it's a nice tackle by Donaldson because you're going to give up some yards in a conservative passing attack, but the key to good defense is to make tackles and limit the positive yards, putting you in a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. Don't panic. A lot of tackling is not necessarily aggressive play. It's timing, being patient, keeping your eyes focused on the right body part, and then being aggressive. That's critically important for Saskatchewan at this time.
Vincent Donaldson playing his first game for the Roughriders since the Western Final last year. The gain is 4. This is 2nd and 6 for the Bombers. Rubley has Cotton, and they'll be short of a first down as he's nailed quickly right at midfield by Todd McMillan.
Similar play we had as the last one. I mean, you're going to give up the slant pattern. It's one of the easier plays to complete based on timing, and the receiver has the advantage. So that's a 4-yard play. That's not that bad. But watch McMillan here. Bang, wraps it up, has his one hand on the football.
Yeah, but it's not that good a play. The pattern is not there. Obviously, no, if you come up that short of a first down, they're 4 yards short of a first down, not even close. Cameron will kick to this guy, Dex Dawson. One bounce to Dawson at the 10. Gets surrounded immediately. So it is the Roughriders on top, 32-18, 7:04 to go at Taylor Field.
Starting your engine is a terrible thing to do,
But when you do start your car, there isn't an engine treatment in the world that can give it the kind of protection Slick 50 can, because nothing else has Slick 50's unique chemistry. That's why Slick 50 engine treatment protects so well at startup and keeps on protecting even when you change your oil. You can reduce your engine wear up to 50%. What it takes is Slick 50.
Well, I'm all for modernization of the game and all. Playing ball on artificial turf is like see this? Playing on a giant toupee. This is the real thing. Major League certified stuff. That ain't right.
Jays, Indians, TSN, Labor Day. The U.S. Open Grand Slam Tennis right here on TSN.
Jeff Reinbold won on Labor Day here last year. 43-12 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It hasn't been that kind of a story here today. Boyko got a touchdown there. And the second part of the season with Saskatchewan was a 55-9 win. A couple of Gatorade showers for Reinbold then, but there were only 4 wins last year and 2 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Today, here's the problem, right, Chris?
Right there. Only 17 points in the third quarter. That determines victory in a lot of football games.
Saskatchewan has the 17 points in the third quarter and a 32-18 lead, and the Bombers are really struggling here again.
They're really struggling, and I know the question tomorrow morning in all the newspapers and talk shows in Winnipeg is what the heck do we do now? And you have to evaluate it in a lot of different areas. You have to be specific in what parts of your football team broke down and whether they're correctable. And if you're going to make a head coaching move, who is out there that's going to make immediate benefit? And that's the biggest question in Winnipeg, is who is out there that really will turn it around.
Coming into Regina this week, there were a lot of questions about the Rough Rider management and coaching staff, too. A solid performance in the third quarter may take some of the heat off for Reggie Slack. He's looking at second down here. Oh! A chance. Narcisse. And then the ball squirted loose. Maeva's in the area. There's a penalty marker over there as well.
You know, an interesting aspect about Reggie Slack, when he was down at Auburn University, he's one of the best run-and-shoot quarterbacks in the nation. And you can see how he incorporates that, not every play, but every now and then, to complete passes.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 36. First down.
Patrick Burke nailed again. That's the second one against Burke in the second half. And he doesn't believe he was guilty of anything, obviously.
And a classic example of where a play was broken up effectively defensively, and then you have a penalty, and instead of a negative for Saskatchewan, it turns a positive because of not perfect technique play. I mean, the players have to take responsibility for doing the physical aspects of their job to the best of their ability.
Bombers have been penalized 11 times for almost 100 yards.
Boy, oh boy. You can't win like that.
Saskatchewan just 5 times.
That's a full football field they've given away.
Absolutely. 32-18 is the score. 6 minutes on the clock. Reinbold is looking at 0 for 98 after 10 games. Slack gets a first down out of it. Riders at the 30-yard line. Slack, nice fake. Tries the option here. That doesn't work badly either. With Saunders slipping out of the backfield.
And just another dimension that Reggie Slack brings to the offense, because he timed that pitch about as perfectly as you could. The actual pitch was lateral to the line or parallel to the line of scrimmage. I mean, if it would have been a forward pass if he had pitched it anymore. I mean, this is just a really good football play by someone experienced at these type of plays, and you can incorporate that in our league very effectively. We saw it last night with Tracy Ham. He had many yards pitching the ball to Pringle or to Thomas Haskins.
Nice play action. Sometimes fools the cameraman.
Yeah,
or the commentator. I think we had it that time. 6 yards to gain, 2nd and 4. Riders at their own 37 with a nifty third quarter behind them. And Slack. I thought he was wrapped up. He escaped. Part of the Bomber problem, not enough intensity. He turned it into a first down. He should have been wrapped up and sacked. How did he get away?
Well, you know, you look at the defensive line for Winnipeg, and the one name we haven't heard a lot about is Joe Fleming. I mean, in the sense that he's the one guy that makes the vast majority of big plays. But here, when Ferguson came or Fagan came in, he should have been able to wrap Slack up. But Slack is a big body, has strong legs, been in that situation before. He's not going to give up just because he feels pressure.
Tyrone Rogers had him all wrapped up. All he had to do was throw him down. Slack's a tough guy.
He is.
Big arms, and he's a strong quarterback, but he should have been down there. Riders turn it into a first down and keep this drive alive. Mike Saunders, one more carry.
And I'll tell you what,
close to another first down. Sorry.
He made Wesley Lisi look like an amateur, faked him inside and then flowed to the outside. Just shows the versatility of a Mike Sanders. This is an excellent move by a running back, setting up the linebacker Lisi, and Lisi will be aware of that next time. But I'm surprised Lisi didn't lose a shoe on this play. He's going to head fake him inside. No, I'm not going there. I'm going to the outside. And you got Lisi reaching, and that's the one thing a defender doesn't want to do. He wants to use his feet to make contact. You never want to reach.
Now, as they discuss things down there, a penalty marker flies, and I'm not sure what the call would be here.
Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg number 51. First down.
Well, the Bombers don't deserve to win football games when they play like this.
I agree. I mean,
after the play, there was no real excuse for Carter there.
I can understand Grant Carter's mindset because this is a guy that has a lot of pride and plays football hard. He's notorious for having a great motor, for playing the game with a high level of intensity, but you're hurting your football team. You're hurting your chance.
And that might have dashed all hope for the Bombers. There's 4:10 on the clock, but this Rider drive continues. They can add to their total, and the Bombers need a couple of touchdowns just to tie. Slack behind his target. It was Narcisse again. Cons had a nice day on his special day at Taylor Field. Caught a nice touchdown pass in the first half.
You know, one thing that they've done effectively well is the whole pass blocking issue with the Saskatchewan offensive line. Sean Daniels sticks Carter right in the chest, stays with him, hands on the inside, limits his progress upfield. Carter's best physical skill as a pass rusher is off the edge and a counter move inside. Daniels took that right away from a well-coached technique with Sean Daniels.
Don Narcisse, 6 catches, 70 yards, and his 70th career touchdown so far this afternoon. From the shotgun at 2nd and 10 as Slack has looked good. Faked it there once and still got a chance to get it away for Daniels.
And I'm not sure
but back
which
to the line is all.
I don't think which priority he had. We had an inside fake out of a shotgun, a fake hitch pass, and then a screen. I think it was a 1-2-3 read. Whichever was open, he was going to take.
He might have faked himself.
I think he did.
Out of the play there.
But what was good, again, is he didn't force the football. He knows he has a lead. He knows he has time is on his side. There's no sense giving up a turnover. McCallum's going to come in, punt this football, hopefully get a single point. If not, next best scenario, keep him within the 20-yard line.
McCallum has had a nice day today.
He has. And he made that one nice tackle, sacrificed his body on a critical play.
46.5, his average. Blunt. Back near deep in Winnipeg territory near the 10-yard line. Beginning at the 12, here's Eric Blunt. Bombers need a big play from him. Don't get much there, but they'll at least get their hands back on the football as a 3-minute warning is up at Taylor Field in Regina. It's been all Rough Riders in the second half. The Bombers are a long way from a victory.
If you're not in the stadium, you're really not in the Grey Cup.
There are times when it becomes a battle of will. When gaining ground means losing blood. When exhilaration meets exhaustion. When the vision of your goal is blurred only by the tears in your eyes. And either you have it in you or you don't. Gatorade. Is it in you?
NFL on TSN tonight, Oakland, Kansas City. Who do you like here, Chris?
John, I like Kansas City. They held the team. They played 11 times with no points in the second half. Oakland still can't stop the run.
Join us for that at 8:15 tonight. Meanwhile, we'll finish things up here. 3 minutes to go. Jim Daly is going to get a little bit of relief after this victory today.
Well, you look at the keys we had for Saskatchewan going in the first quarter and into the game. 5.6 yards on first down. I mean, I thought that was critical, and they did a good job of doing that. They did block the blitz, and they also moved away from the blitz. And when they had to, they ran effectively inside, and they did get the crowd in the game. In particular, in the third quarter, when Winnipeg self-destructed that one touchdown, a lot of that was the crowd getting into the game.
Over 30,000 here this afternoon. Perfect day for football on Labor Day weekend in Saskatchewan. Time running out on the Bombers. Rubley for Eric Blunt, sneaking out of the backfield about 8 yards. Sutton makes the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, this is a sigh of relief for Jim Daly. I think he was going into this game very concerned, because anytime you're playing a football team that's 0-9, they have their back against the walls, and you don't know how they're going to come out and attack you. You don't know exactly what phase of football they're going to try to dominate.
A 9-yard gain for the Bombers, making this 2nd and 1 as the shadows creep over Taylor Field. Winnipeg at the 37-yard line. This will be a first down. Dealan McCullough across the 45-yard line. You know, checking out of the Regina Inn today, I saw a rather interesting sight. Maybe I've seen it all in CFL football. I saw all these big Blue Bombers walking out of the hotel with pillows under their arms. Now, they brought their pillows from home because they're getting on the bus right after this.
That's going to be a long ride.
Yeah. All clutching their pillows, and they'll watch a movie on the way home. I hope it's not Titanic.
Yeah.
That's maybe what they watched on the way here. TJ had nothing there and had to toss it away. East Division race is slipping away from Winnipeg even farther now. They would have had to have won today, and maybe 8 more after this to really get into this hunt.
The game
Montreal
tomorrow,
leading the way. And how about the game tomorrow? Toronto at Hamilton.
Well, number 1, Hamilton has to get off to a good start, because Toronto is one of the fastest teams in terms of getting quick scores. Daryl Mitchell, Kerwin Bell, watch out Hamilton.
This is really starting to wear on Jeff Reinbold. As you see the expression on his face, he's tried to put up a brave front, but it's getting harder and harder week by week. Rubley on 2nd and 10. He has a target, and it's inside the 45-yard line. Mitch Running had a touchdown earlier for Winnipeg in his first game as a Bomber. 2:10 to go. The Bombers need 2 quick scores to get back in this. Running has a 20-yard strike there. Bombers have to go to the hurry-up offense. And they don't get the playoff in time.
Now, sometimes when your offense isn't working, it's a good move to throw the hurry-up offense at a time where it wouldn't be predicted, where the defense wouldn't anticipate having it, because then you don't have time to think. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you get over the center and you're looking at all the motion and everything and the receivers, that you think too much, you hesitate, and then you don't complete plays. Sometimes it's better just to go to make one read and fire the football. And, you know, in retrospect, I know looking back, but it wouldn't have been a bad idea in that third quarter for the Bombers to come out in a no-huddle offense, dictate by formation to Saskatchewan, and really make them react to what you were trying to do. I mean, it's all, you can always second-guess it towards the end, but it's one of those wrinkles that you can always use that because it's not anticipated, something that will catch a defense off guard.
Third quarter kills the Bombers again. Saskatchewan scores 17 points. Unanswered. Rubley. 1st and 15. Jump ball. Intercepted. Tommy Henry in his first game in Ryder green and white.
Well, and that's exactly what happens when you have your back against the wall. People already know you can throw the football. They can kind of settle in to their coverage, be it zone or man-to-man, and break on the ball without the real fear of any type of deceptive plays. I mean, basically your hitch passes, your screens, your draws are out the window because you need to score the ball, score with the football quick.
The season has been a disaster for Winnipeg football fans and this Blue Bomber team.
And you know, John, it surprises me because I really thought the one aspect of this football team where they were at their best was their offensive line. And I'm a big believer if you can control the line of scrimmage, you can win the football game. For whatever reasons, we have emphasized the lack of quality receivers, the Sean Millington situation, the fact that that Rubley is an inexperienced quarterback that has to adjust to the little things in the Canadian Football League, and the details of this game make the difference between the winners and the losers. And really, that's just putting the ball up for grabs in a situation where you do not have a choice. You have to go for a play.
He went for the play, and the second interception of the afternoon for the Roughriders belongs to Tommy Henry. He arrived on Thursday and was in the lineup on Sunday afternoon. The Riders have been devastated by injuries.
Yes.
First and 10, Saskatchewan beginning at the 21. Time to run out the clock. Saunders is still in there. It's still running hard. So how have you enjoyed Labor Day?
This has been unique. It's hard to describe unless you're here, but you have a whole bowl of people at a very enthusiastic level that are into the football game. We saw the wave go around here probably about 20 times. I mean, a lot has to do with the fact that Saskatchewan's playing exceptionally well, but it is a great atmosphere in Regina on Labor Day.
There were the seats we had reserved for Tillman and Duthie had they been able to make arrangements.
I don't know if I'd even want to see that.
You mean Duthie and Tillman in the hot tub?
Down there. You never know, though. I thought they would have given it a shot.
You know, there's only one place like Saskatchewan for football. Somewhere in this ballpark today, a guy and a girl who got married in Weyburn about 2 hours away from here today. They loaded all of their guests at the wedding on 2 buses and arrived here. The reception is going on up there somewhere, Chris.
Oh.
I don't know when the honeymoon starts, but we can't find the bride because she's obviously in her going away outfit and not wearing her dress.
The honeymoon starts as soon as this game is over.
But anyway, can you believe
they
that?
do have their priorities.
You bring
here,
the whole
don't they?
wedding party to Taylor
I'd
Field
like
and you
that.
buy tickets. Maybe it's cheaper than renting a hall.
It
I don't
probably
know.
is.
Time is running out on the Blue Bombers, if it hadn't really by the third quarter. Saunders has had a great day. Mason on the sidelines didn't get his chance today, mainly because he's hitting on only 46% of his passes. So it was all TJ Rubley. But this guy wins the day. Reggie Slack had a nice afternoon. 311 yards at 1 point in the early going of the fourth quarter. Slack finishes with a pretty nice afternoon.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 7. Asa down. 3rd down.
Mike Saunders with this brilliant 57-yard touchdown, breaking a couple of tackles, and that really broke the hearts of the Blue Bombers right there.
Well, we discussed that it would take a big play to kind of have the knockout punch to Winnipeg, and this play right here where he receives the ball, breaks the tackle, slides in for the touchdown, that really was the one play. And after that, you could just see Winnipeg fold like a tent, just fall on top of themselves.
Saunders, it's a real nice day, doesn't he?
He does.
Couple of touchdowns, he's done it all. Caught the ball, rushed with the football, and led the Roughriders to victory. McCallum has punted well, and the Bombers really haven't had much going on special teams either. Eric Blunt is chased down and wrapped up from behind. Shannon Garrett was there. So Saskatchewan with a victory here today, or at least a minute 17 away from a victory, move up a notch and tie the BC Lions at 3-7.
BC did some pretty good things the other night at home against Montreal. Danny Barrett made a contribution in the second half. Juan Johnson had some excellent runs. I think they have found a true tailback there, and eventually they will get Robert Drummond back after the unfortunate incident about his father.
The Riders are back in the race for a playoff spot. Here's Rubley. Has Mitch running. He breaks one tackle and can't get away from the second Saskatchewan defender at the 50-yard line, brought down by Eric Sutton. Big games tomorrow in Canadian football. Who do you like at Ivor Wynn, Argonauts or the Ticats?
You know what? Right now, the Toronto Argonauts are playing as efficiently offensively as any team. And I'll tell you what, they're doing it without a running game.
That's the
first quarter. Hamilton has to play their best football, because if Kerwin Bell gets up, it'll be all over.
And with time running out, the Bombers are able to get a couple of completions in a row. So I'm taking the Tiger Cats there.
Okay.
And now we're going to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Eskimos are there. Who do you like there?
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos match up exceptionally well with Calgary, with Malcolm Frank and Kavis Reed. And if they can limit what Pitts and Danielson can do offensively, I think they may be able to move the ball if Archer gets hot. He's a streak quarterback. He throws some great patterns, but he needs a good supporting cast to be at his best. I'm not saying Edmonton's going to win, but I think they'll play well.
You're on the fence.
I am on the
Here's
fence.
T.J. Rubley. Far side, another completion. He has David Gamble. Reminder, both those games are on CBC tomorrow. Ivor win.
And both
game one.
sold out ballparks,
And
which is
sold
great.
out ballparks for there. And then McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Glenn Suter will be on the telecast out of Calgary tomorrow at McMahon Stadium. So
And Glenn,
lots of Labor Day football tomorrow to catch.
Glenn, if you're listening, I have new respect for your occupation.
You didn't respect them at all before, did you?
Well, I didn't think it was as complicated. It's unique.
Less than a minute to go. Rubley is down. Talking about that Labor Day game at McMahon, which will be a thriller. We'll have it, or at least the rematch of it, with the Stampeders and the Eskimos at Commonwealth on our Friday night telecast.
And, you know, usually it's hard to win games back-to-back, but I think in this situation here, Winnipeg is going to have a long bus ride home and a long time to think about it. And they have to make a decision. Do you throw the film out, start from new, or try to learn from your mistakes again?
Dylan McCullough slips as he crosses the 40-yard line. The Bombers are going to get their Barney pillows.
Yes, they are.
Or their Big Bird pillows, and
watch the movies and head home.
Have a little snooze on a 6-hour bus ride back to Winnipeg.
And you know, that's tough because all you're going to be talking about, all you're thinking about is the football game. If it was a home game for Winnipeg, you have something to take your mind off it. When you have a 6-hour bus ride, different thing.
Still hammering T.J. Rubley down there.
Yeah.
He got the pass away to McCullough. But this one is long over for the Blue Bombers, who will drop to 0-10. And that really is a hurtful standing in any league you're going to play in. If you haven't won a ball game in 10 tries.
Well, the thing is the practice week constantly becomes a negative because the emphasis is, well, we did this wrong, and we did this wrong, and we did this wrong. So everything is down. Everything is towards what we have to do better. There's no gratification from that. And after week after week after week of that, you go into football games, and you're almost anticipating mistakes. You're playing not to win. You're playing not to lose. You're conservative by nature. And this is what Winnipeg is going through right now. It's become a relatively conservative team because of the consistency of the third quarter breakdowns.
If the Bombers didn't have to, if they could just go right to the fourth quarter, they'd be maybe
have
a
a
little
better
bit
shot.
better off.
Yeah.
But the third quarter kills Winnipeg again, and Mike Saunders is still getting the football out there. Just running a few more ticks off the clock here at Taylor Field in Regina.
Well, it sets up a good opportunity for Saskatchewan. In our opening comments, we were saying that one of the teams has to kind of put their foot down and be a part of the Western Division and get their respect and recognition as a possible playoff team. And I think with Reggie Slack being back in this football team, that makes a world of difference. I think with Vincent Donaldson back on this football team, his leadership makes a big difference. Tommy Henry did not get burned for the limited amount of practice time he had. He played rather well. So you look at Saskatchewan, this is a big positive mentally going into the next game, as well as the next 8 games in the regular season.
8 seconds to go. And Slack will take a knee here and have 4 seconds remaining on the scoreboard clock. The heat is off. Jim Daly and Rider management for at least another week.
You know, coaches always say that they hate that. You know,
Yeah,
that
they know it's coming.
They gotta know it's coming, man.
They gotta know
That's like
it's
icing on the cake there. I'd enjoy. There you go.
It's like fool me once and fool me
Yeah.
twice, but you're not going to get me a third time. Of course, in Jeff Reinbold's situation,
I think he's only
he
had
would
one
love
of
a
them.
shower.
Oh my Lord!
Boy, it's telling on the face of the youngest coach in the Canadian Football League what he's been through this year. Jeff Reinbold has really struggled. His Blue Bombers are not a very good football team, and they haven't been since the start of the season. Daly gets a bit of a reprieve in Saskatchewan after a 32-18 win.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won the Minolta Dimagepik digital still camera with built-in flash, 1.8-inch color LCD monitor, and 64-image storage. A great way to break into the world of digital photography. Dimagepik from Minolta. It's great fun. Or a set of Revere Pro Line cookware from Corning. Designed for durability and a lifetime of use. Retains moisture, flavor, and nutrients while cooking. Corningware, a balance of practicality and performance. Enter your ballot at your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Introducing new McCain Golden Crisp Waffles, made waffle iron thick to stay fluffy on the inside while toasting up golden and crisp on the outside. Treat yourself to the real waffle iron taste of new McCain Golden Crisp Waffles. Waffle iron thick to toast up light and crispy every time.
Safeway's $1 million touchdown to win, and you could win $1 million. Or a Samsung Hi8 stereo camcorder, the Dirt Devil MVP Swivel Glide and Ultra Handbag, a VTech digital cordless phone. Fill a shave with reflex action from Philips. Or win a vacation trip for two to the VS Vallarta Hotel via Air Transat, courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. Look for Ocean Spray Cocktail, Green Giant Vegetables. Now there's a million more reasons to shop at Safeway, today's better way.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you? And by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends. See you tonight.
And our Keg game ball goes to Mike Saunders. Almost 200 yards total offense and 2 touchdowns as he turned the game around in the third quarter. Brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends. See you tonight. Well, 0-10. Wow, what the heck do you do? We've been asking this question all year long, but is Jeff Reinbold's job in trouble? I'll say it one more time.
Well, I generally don't like to speculate on the future of coaches, but this is just an awful performance, particularly in the second half. And if Winnipeg is going to make a change this season, it might happen now. I hope it doesn't. Generally, I'm against that happening, but you have to remember, this is a team that was 9-9 back in 96 when they made the change with Cal Murphy, and they're now 4-24 over the last 2 years.
All right, now Labor Day weekend in CFL is not over yet. Let's quickly run through the other 2 games. Toronto-Hamilton, the Battle of Southern Ontario, sold-out Ivor win tomorrow. What do the Ticats have to do?
Well, the one thing Hamilton can't afford to do is to fall behind early. When they played back in mid-August, that happened. The Argos jumped on them early. They got completely out of sync offensively. In fact, they ran the ball only 5 times. For them to win, Danny Mack has to have a big game, and they have to avoid turnovers, and I think they have to run the ball successfully.
And quickly, the other game, which is on CBC tomorrow, both these games on CBC, the Battle of Alberta, Calgary and Edmonton. Who do you like there?
The best rivalry in the league. You know, I mean, you look at these 2 teams, they've had so much success, and 6 of the last 8 Grey Cups, either Edmonton or Calgary, have been there. Whoever wins this game, if they can back it up and win home and away, then they're in great shape as far as the playoffs.
Can't wait. Going to get to sit back and watch this one and not have to work at all. And our next game, by the way, is the Battle of Alberta Round 2. That is Adidas Friday Night Football next week. Calgary and Edmonton, back-to-back games. That should be a good one. Now, football is not done on TSN yet. In just 15 minutes, the NFL, day 1 of the NFL concludes with the Raiders and KC. That's coming up at 8:15 Eastern. Now, coming up next, a mini edition of Sports Desk with Teresa Cruz. All the highlights of a very, 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 not enough varies for this, busy day in the world of sports. Out in Regina today, Mike Saunders and the Riders pull away in the second half. Saunders with 2 key TDs as the Riders move into a tie for 3rd place in the West with the BC Lions. Winnipeg falls